It's Thursday, March the 5th. Today, will a drop in speed improve safety? The debate over a new default speed limit for the city of Winnipeg shifts into high gear. Also, a mountain of bills for spring season. What's on the agenda and which laws are being put forward as MLAs return for the spring sitting at the Manitoba Legislature. Plus, charting a path forward. What's in store for the city of Steinbach as it rolls out its new safety and well-being strategy? Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Happy Thursday to you. Ainsley McPhail is hanging out in a beautiful home this morning in West St. Paul. We're going to talk about the St. B Mega Million Choices Lottery and, of course, the benefits of perhaps winning the home or over $1 million. But the other perk, of course, is patient care in this province. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that throughout the morning and get a tour of the house as well. But the weather yesterday was a little cooler than I'd like.
Yeah, you know, not bad. Today will be a little bit warmer than that, and then the warm-up will actually continue. So we are in for more pleasant temperatures today, perhaps, as we're getting back to what is normal for this time of year. Beginning the day at a very seasonal -14, but we do still have a bit of a breeze in place, a 23 km wind out of the northeast, making it feel like -23. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 86%. It's going to be a cloudy day for us today, all across central and southern Manitoba. And where it's not cloudy yet, it likely will become cloudy across parts of northern Manitoba with some snow that'll kind of begin through the more central part of the province, but then squeeze on in and push up into the northern part of the province. But here's the good news about northern Manitoba. The last several days, you've been under that extreme cold warning. The clear conditions, yes, sunny, beautiful looking, but absolutely freezing, and things will start to change now with the clouds moving in and the round of precipitation. You will also get some warmer temperatures to come along with that. We could be seeing more of this activity into tomorrow morning with the flurries just off to the west of us. We might get clipped, certainly starting to see a little more sunshine later on into the day as those clouds break up a little bit. Temperature-wise, it does look like that warm-up is still in the works to the more seasonal temperatures for today and tomorrow, or at least close to it. And then those plus digits waiting for us this weekend. However, it could come with some showers both Saturday and Sunday. The possibility is there, and fairly mild or seasonal temperatures will then continue as we look ahead further into next week.
Thank you, Terry. A plan to slow down traffic on residential streets is gaining traction at City Hall. Yesterday, the Public Works Committee voted in favor of lobbying the province to change its Highway Traffic Act. That would open the door for Winnipeg to drop its default speed limit from 50 kilometers per hour to 40 or even lower. The vote came after hours of lively debate from Winnipeggers in favor and opposed to the idea. CTV's Danton Unker reports.
For years, Winnipeg parent Ian Walker has been pushing for the city to lower residential speed limits.
I feel worried every time my kids go out the door to walk or bike to school.
Now his calls may be one step closer to reality. Winnipeg's Public Service is recommending the city ask the province to amend its Highway Traffic Act. This would allow Winnipeg to drop its default speed limit on residential streets.
Ultimately, what will happen is it will come down to a vote at council. 40 remain the same, or 30.
The Public Service recommends a drop to 40 clicks, down from 50, noting this could be implemented quickly, requiring fewer signs while still keeping a distinction from school zone areas. It pointed to a recent study out of Edmonton that found a drop to 40 led to a 25% reduction in overall collisions. On Wednesday at the Public Works Committee meeting, dozens of residents of all ages weighed in.
Cars were zooming by us so fast. It's really scary when cars do that.
Some opposed the idea.
If you drive 40, you're getting passed and saluted frequently. I've tried it. It's going to create road rage and unsafe issues.
While others felt the city should go further.
This process should be expedited by presenting a city bylaw to decrease all residential streets to 30 kilometers an hour immediately.
Public Works Chair Councillor Janice Lukes says she supports a drop to 40 kilometers per hour.
It takes 18 seconds more to go 40 versus 50. This is only in residential neighborhoods, not the collectors, not the primary, not the priority ones, just the residentials.
A city report notes even with the province's approval, it could take a year to implement this. But Walker is hopeful it will happen eventually.
I suspect that a couple of years from now, people are going to be wondering why it took us so long to do it.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Public Works Committee voted unanimously in favor to push the motion forward. It still needs to make its way through the Executive Policy Committee and a full council vote. A semi from Manitoba-based business was involved in a fiery crash in Saskatoon Tuesday.
I've seen truck accidents before, but this was huge, man. Yeah, I can still see the diesel on the roads and stuff, and yeah, it's crazy, man.
This was the scene on the busy Circle Drive in Saskatoon Tuesday morning. A witness tells CTV News he saw a police officer and a bystander pull the driver from the vehicle minutes before the cab became engulfed in flames. Police later said they believe the driver suffered a medical event and crashed into a light pole. The truck had Penner International decals on the side, which is a freight service based in Steinbach. Prime Minister Mark Carney is not ruling out Canada's military playing a role in the war with Iran.
One can never categorically rule out participation. We will stand by our allies when it makes sense. There's a distinction between the offensive actions that were taken and are being taken by the United States and Israel, that were taken by them without consultation with Canada, with other allies.
Prime Minister Carney was speaking to Australia's Prime Minister when he was asked if there was a situation in Canada would get involved with the conflict. The Prime Minister called the question a fundamental hypothetical, but he said Canada will defend its citizens and stand by its allies. The U.S. House of Representatives will vote on a war powers resolution today after the Senate backed President Trump's Iran war.
Why is he plunging America headfirst into a war that Americans do not want and which he cannot even explain?
The Senate voted 53 to 47 against a resolution to limit the president's war powers. The vote was mostly along party lines. One Republican sided with the Democrats and one Democrat voted with the Republicans. Any resolution passed by Congress can be vetoed by President Trump. The war in the Middle East is now into day 6, and there are new strikes between Israel and Iran. The damage in Beirut is piling up after days of Israeli airstrikes. Lebanese media is reporting that 3 people have been killed and 6 others were hurt after 2 strikes near the capital. Plus, new strikes were reported this morning in southern Beirut, which is a Hezbollah stronghold. Thick smoke can also be seen rising above Tehran this morning as Israel launches new strikes there. Air raid sirens rang out in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem this morning with explosions in the sky as strikes were intercepted. There were no immediate reports of any injuries or deaths. Israel is now easing some restrictions on the public because there has been a decline in the number of rockets being fired from Iran. Drivers across the country are feeling some sticker shock from rising gas prices today.
Living in Canada is not easy. All the prices has went up. And now gas too, so we have to save some money.
What can I say? It's a reality. It's happening.
According to Gas Buddy, drivers in BC and PEI are paying the most for gas right now. Experts are warning the longer the war lasts in the Middle East, the more drivers can expect to pay. Relief is unlikely to come soon because it takes time to scale up oil and gas production in Canada. Winnipeg Transit riders will no longer need to wonder where their bus is. The city says passengers are now able to track buses in near real time using a smartphone. The Winnipeg Transit app and website, as well as Navigo, allows riders to see buses on a map. Their location is updated based on GPS. Clicking on the bus will provide more information, including how recently its location was updated. If there hasn't been a recent GPS report from the bus, the city says its location won't be visible in the app. The update comes after Winnipeg Transit's GPS system experienced widespread issues last summer and fall. However, the city says it's now performing with the same accuracy as it did before. It's being called the most important meal of the day, but many people often skip breakfast due to busy lives or lack of hunger. So is the first meal of the day really essential for our health?
It comes down to personal preference and what works best for your body.
That's registered dietitian Julia Zampano, who says breakfast does come with benefits. For some, that includes better cognitive function, lower risk of diabetes, better blood sugar management, and appetite control. But those who skip breakfast may also find they have a clearer mind, more alertness, and better digestion. So she says the best thing to do is listen to your body.
Those people who chronically skip breakfast or just don't feel hungry in the morning have likely been that way their whole lives. Those who wake up hungry and ready to eat, again, physiologically, that's what their body is telling them.
No matter which group you belong to, Zampano says your first food of the day should be made up of mostly protein and fiber. She says meals with high fat or high sugar can lead to a pretty significant crash 30 to 90 minutes later. Some healthy first meal ideas include Greek yogurt with berries, nuts, and ground flaxseed, cottage cheese with tomato and a slice of whole grain toast, avocado toast with an egg, or overnight oats. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic around McPhillip Street. Things are pretty good to start off this Thursday morning. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see something out there, text them to us, please, at 10400. Let's go now to Terry on the rooftop. Good morning, Terry. How's it feeling out there?
Not bad. I mean, you're going to want to throw those extra layers on. I mean, it's still springtime in Manitoba. It's not quite springtime, I suppose, technically. It's still winter. So even though I've been talking about this warm-up that'll make things feel a little more pleasant, you don't want to be improperly dressed for the conditions that we're currently experiencing, which is a little bit of light snow at this time, some heavier clouds, and just a few flakes. I mean, it's hardly something that you would say is snowing, but I am seeing a few flakes here or there. -14 is where we're sitting with the temperature right now. That is bang on normal for this time of year, but a bit of a breeze factored on top of that, and it does feel more like -22. That wind right now out of the east-northeast, 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 88%. So yes, heavier clouds are going to be noticed pretty much across the province. There are some parts through northeastern Manitoba who might be having a bit of a clearer start to the day, but you will see those clouds building up and bringing some flurries with them as well through central and up into northern Manitoba. You can expect to be seeing some snow today, although turns out so are we here in the south. We aren't expecting to see much. It'll be a more significant snowfall through central and northern Manitoba, but a few flakes here or there as the temperature climbs close to seasonal. -4 is normal for this time of year, and we'll be getting to about -5 as our expected high this afternoon. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. A motion to build permanent bike lanes on a stretch of Wellington Crescent is moving forward at City Hall. The Public Works Committee voted 3-1 in favor after shooting down a similar motion to install temporary bike lanes. If passed by Council, the Public Service will task an engineering consultant to design a permanent plan for bike lanes on Wellington between Academy Road and Stradbrook. Construction would happen in spring-summer 2027 and cost about $5.5 million. The Executive Policy Committee will discuss the matter at its next meeting. The NDP government has a mountain of legislation on tap as the spring session gets underway. Significant bills include plans to end mandatory overtime for nurses and a ban on street weapons in parks. And there are also promises to help with the cost of living in the upcoming budget. CTV's Jeff Keel explains.
Healthcare, crime, and the cost of food are on the province's agenda for the spring session.
When our budget comes forward, we're going to have some really strong measures on affordability.
There are nearly 36 proposed laws that could be put forward by the NDP government. On crime, proposed legislation to restrict long-bladed weapons and another bill to ban street weapons in parks and on buses. On health, laws to stop the requirement for sick notes and mandatory OT for nurses and establish a nurse-to-patient ratio.
If you know that when you go to work, you are working with a workload that is manageable and that your patients are getting great care, that you're going to be able to leave at the end of your shift and not be mandated, that's a big, big recruitment and retention issue.
And healthcare dominated the first question period back. PC leader Abi Khan reiterated his call for a public inquiry into the health system following a number of emergency room-related deaths.
I'm asking the question that the families have asked me to ask on their behalf. Will the Premier call a public inquiry into the deaths of their loved ones while they waited for healthcare treatment?
We're committed to listening to the desires that they have for answers, to working through the processes before them, to provide those answers, and perhaps most importantly, to take action.
Later this month, the NDP government will unveil the 2026 budget with a pledge to cut food prices. Premier Wab Kinew says they will go after what's known as predatory pricing.
A ride-sharing company would charge you more for a ride if your phone has less battery charge on it. And a food company engaged in predatory pricing when you're ordering groceries would charge you more if they think you can afford to pay for it.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Justice Minister Matt Wiebe reintroduced a bill that would require an opinion by the Court of Appeal if the province wanted to use the notwithstanding clause, which can override specific rights. Canada is looking at several ways to get Canadians home and out of the Middle East.
I am on the phone night and day with my counterparts in the region to ensure that we are providing the utmost support for Canadians in need. This is an all-hands-on-deck effort right now at Global Affairs Canada.
So far, Global Affairs says it has reserved 200 seats over the next 3 days on flights out of Beirut. Qatar Airline has arranged buses to Saudi Arabia for 200 Canadians with existing tickets. Israel is running buses to Egypt where commercial flights are available. In the UAE, Canadian charter flights are being organized in the next few days. There are more than 106,000 Canadians and permanent residents registered in the Middle East. Of those, more than 2,000 people have asked for help getting home. The United Kingdom and Australia have already started evacuation flights out of Oman. Minister Anand says if there is any extra space on their planes, Canadians will be offered the seats. It was 60 years ago when a blizzard blew into the province, burying Winnipeg and southern Manitoba.
It was snow up to your waist on Main Street.
The snowstorm on March the 4th, 1966 was one of the worst to hit Manitoba, lasting 20 hours and dropping 35.6 centimeters of snow. The blizzard brought with it 113 kilometer-an-hour winds. The Winnipeg airport reported having zero visibility for 14 hours. The storm shut down the city, leaving behind massive snowdrifts and 12 feet of snow in some areas. Bus services were canceled and people were told to stay home, but some of those who did venture out took to using snowmobiles to navigate the streets. Former CKY DJ Chuck McCoy was on air when the snow started falling.
In those days, they didn't have the snow removal facilities and they didn't have accurate weather forecasting like they do today.
McCoy says one of the more unusual stories involving the blizzard was a gold bar heist at the Winnipeg airport. The flying bandit Ken Leishman and 4 accomplices stole an Air Canada truck with nearly $400,000 in gold on March the 1st, 1966. They planned to leave Winnipeg in the days following, but that didn't happen thanks to the blizzard. And soon after, police caught them. A young Blue Jays fan gave up his prize and stole hearts in the stands during spring training.
Goes full.
A foul ball sent a Detroit Tigers fan over the seats in a failed attempt to catch it. But watch as this little Jays fan picks up the ball, and instead of hanging on to it, he hands it over to the man who was about to walk away disappointed. What a sweetheart. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound shoulder lane on Panet Road will be closed from Mission Street to Narron Avenue. Following the rush, the eastbound curb lane on Regent Avenue will be closed between Agimadier to Rougeau. And on Langside Street, both north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Ellis to Portage. If you see any issues out there, please send us a text.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
We're looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. All right, so our temperatures, they're back to what is normal for this time of year and will stay that way throughout the rest of this week. We will, though, likely see some heavier clouds hanging around again and maybe even a little bit of light snow. When I was out there on the rooftop 10 minutes ago, just a few light and scattered flakes of snow, some ice crystals that have a little bit of a sparkle to them, but these temperatures pretty much normal for this time of year until you're factoring in the winds, and I'll show you the wind chill values in a second. Let's first look at these temperatures, with minus 14 being a normal low. Many of us are right in that spot, either at minus 13 or 14 or just above it, as is the case Morton Winkler area, or just below it through parts of central Manitoba. Further into the north, yes, it is a little bit colder, but remember the last couple of days, your temperatures were sitting in the mid to high minus 30s with wind chill values in the minus 40s. So big improvements there, some low to mid minus 20s with the actual temperatures, and the wind chill values in the minus 30s, still high minus 30s, but not quite as intense. And so all of those extreme cold warnings have been lifted across northern Manitoba. Here in Winnipeg, it still feels like minus 23, even colder feeling in Brandon, minus 28. And yes, we've got the heavier clouds, a little bit of snow, and where it's clear, that won't remain so all of this with the clouds and the snow pushing up into the north as well. So expect things to be changing throughout much of northern Manitoba, who's been seeing the sunshine for the last few days. We'll watch the temperatures rise today slowly, steadily to about -6 by the time kids are coming home from school. Then it'll actually continue to warm up into the evening time with our expected high to top out at about -5, -4 normal. So we're close to that. And again for tomorrow too, the real warm up comes this weekend with some possible showers and some plus-digit temperatures, and then back to seasonal for next week. A beautiful shot of that full moon in the Enola area taken by Shayna. Thanks for sharing this, and keep the photos coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Good morning. Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Well, indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Good luck. The operator of the Port of Churchill has signed an agreement with the Port of Antwerp-Bruges, one of the world's largest cargo shipping facilities. CTV's Alex Carpa has more on what this could mean for Canada moving forward.
This is the Port of Churchill. It's situated on the shores of Hudson Bay in northern Manitoba and is the only deepwater seaport in northern Canada. Interest in revitalizing the port has grown in recent years as Canada seeks to diversify its global trade. Leading this effort is the port's operator Arctic Gateway Group, which has secured a major trade agreement with a prominent European port.
This is a great partnership and a great relationship.
The agreement with Belgium's Port of Antwerp will focus on developing transport of materials, including critical minerals and energy products between Canada and the EU.
We think there's a huge opportunity for us to establish more trade between Western Canada and abroad through this agreement.
An economist says Europe is looking for reliable markets around the world, and Canada presents a good option for them.
So this is very much a win-win. A win for Canadians, particularly those in the north, getting access to better markets and more jobs, and a win for Europeans because now they can get access to Canadian goods without having to worry about geopolitical issues.
Last month, Ottawa says it's considering a major expansion of the Port of Churchill that would transform the northern Manitoba facility into a year-round multi-commodity trade hub. Some living in Churchill are encouraged about the renewed interest in the port, but hope these agreements and words turn into action.
We've seen lots of documents signed and MOUs and things like that, so those are all good, of course, but the next step obviously is putting action to these agreements.
Avery says revitalizing the port has a lot of benefits.
To reestablish ourselves as an energy superpower, to assert our sovereignty in the north, and also to advance Indigenous economic reconciliation.
With Avery going on to say the port may soon play a much bigger role in Canada's economic strategy. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A large parcel of land near Victoria has been converted into a nature sanctuary called Hummingbird Hill.
I wish that the cameras could pick up how it smells here, and you can almost taste the goodness and the greenness here. The oxygen content is very high.
The 21-hectare property belongs to the BC Parks Foundation and is named to honor a species of hummingbird that migrate there each spring. They're also leasing the property to the Rocky Point Bird Observatory, where they can do conservation and educational programs. Here's a look outside right now on Norwood Bridge. Looks good so far. We'll be back after this short break.
All right, -14 is what we're waking up to this morning. The golden boy glowing off in the distance there. Anyway, we've got some clouds hanging over the city today, so it's not like that boy is going to be glistening in the sunshine, but he does look good all lit up this morning. East-northeast winds, they're 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So with the heavier clouds comes the possibility of some flurries, which we are seeing in some parts of the province already. You can see here through west central Manitoba, but then eventually moving right on up into northern Manitoba, where it's been so incredibly cold the last few days, but also clear. And you can see already some light clouds, but heavier clouds will be moving into the north with that snow that's going to come along with it. Now, we too could see some scattered flurries here throughout the south, but definitely some heavier clouds that'll be hanging around over the next day, overnight as well. -5 is where we're headed to, and that high temperature might not actually be reached until evening time. So, for example, by the time kids are coming home from school, we'll probably still be around -6 and then continuing to warm up into the evening time with moderate winds out of the northeast at about 20 kilometers per hour, only dropping down to -9. So that will be an above seasonal night ahead with some heavier clouds still. Again, the possibility of some light and scattered snow, but very light. And tomorrow, even a little bit more sunshine to enjoy, -6. So finishing off the work week in those mid- single digits. -4 I mentioned being normal, but +4 could be reached this weekend. 3-4 degrees over the course of Saturday, Sunday, but while there might be some sunshine, possibly also some showers, and then those more seasonal temperatures settling in for the next week.
A 40-year-old man is dead, and police are appealing for information about a shooting in the North End. Officers were sent to the 600 block of Selkirk Avenue around 3 Tuesday afternoon for a gun call. Police tape could be seen surrounding a 2-story apartment building near the corner of Selkirk and Mackenzie Street, with several police cruisers parked outside. There they found the victim, who was brought to a hospital in critical condition but later died. Police have identified him as Kinsley Murray Bruce. He was a member of Poplar River First Nation but had been living in Winnipeg. A 47-year-old man is facing firearms charges after police say he was using a stop sign for target practice. RCMP responded to shots fired Sunday in a rural area west of Winnipeg after a nearby driver saw the barrel of a firearm hanging outside the window of a parked vehicle. When police arrived, they found the accused had been shooting at a sign. The man from the RM of Cartier was arrested for firearm-related offenses. The province is launching public consultations on the future of artificial intelligence. The government says it will focus on 2 issues: modernizing data privacy laws and establishing clear rules around the use of AI. It says this could potentially lead to age limits for use or laws which require companies to create an opt-in process for data usage. The consultations will involve youth, educators, experts, municipalities, private and nonprofit organizations, as well as Indigenous governments. A new safety report from the city of Steinbach is putting affordable housing and addiction in focus. The southeast Manitoba city has a burgeoning population, and with that, growing issues. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has more on concerns from residents and proposed solutions.
Steinbach resident Lisa Fass loves living in the community she grew up in. She works at Agape House, a shelter for people experiencing intimate partner violence. She helped write the community safety and well-being plan along with many other stakeholders.
It's a framework for local agencies, organizations to come together and pretty much sit at one table and just say, like, what can we do better for our community?
Fast says consultations were held for months identifying the key concerns of Steinbach residents and leaders. One of those concerns, the need for more resources to address substance use and mental health issues.
Especially when we're talking about mental health and addictions. There's definitely a stigma around those, reaching out for supports like that.
Charlene Craker says she hears this concern often while working at Steinbach Community Outreach. Craker also contributed to the report, and another concern is the scarcity of affordable housing in Steinbach.
Being the only agency that is working right now in all of southeastern Manitoba with the unhoused community, I think it's important that we did have a voice in this.
Craker's organization is currently developing a 3-story apartment building to address the need. Upon completion, it will be the second build to help vulnerable populations find an affordable home. Steinbach Mayor Earl Funk says a report like this is critical for building the growing city.
In a community like ours, where people are looking to help their neighbor, I think these are going to be the answers that we need for affordable housing to get people off the street and into housing and then get that wraparound service around them.
The report also found more doctors are needed to increase capacity and reduce wait times. Funk says a new walk-in clinic will open in the coming months, bringing in 4 new doctors. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Steinbach.
The world is already fascinated by an abandoned monkey with a stuffed animal named Punch. Now get ready to fall in love with a brand new baby monkey that's a lot closer to home. Take a look. This new baby monkey was born at Assiniboine Park Zoo. The female Geldes monkey was born on December 18th. The zoo says her mom, Evie, showed some strong maternal instincts but couldn't produce the milk her baby needed to survive. So zookeepers stepped in to help raise the little monkey. That meant staying overnight for more than a month to ensure she got regular feedings. And it looks as if all that attention has paid off. The zoo says the baby is doing well and is now starting to sample solid foods. And she's getting a lot of attention from the other monkeys. Her grandma often carries the baby around and keeps a watchful eye on her.
Mom's been great too, though. Even though Mom didn't have milk, she really was interested in the baby from day one, and so that I think has helped a lot. Like, you know, right away the baby wanted to go to the parent, to the mom, and to the grandma, and both of them have taken turns holding. Both of them have taken turns allowing her to ride on them.
You can see the baby monkey for yourself at Toucan Ridge, and you'll get a chance to help give her a name. The zoo plans to hold a naming contest in the next couple of weeks. Mullet madness is taking over in Barrie, Ontario.
If we're going to do mullets, let's do them. All right.
Salons in the city are calling on mullet warriors to sign up and get their hair cut for a good cause. The cause is for a youth center called Cody's House, and donations will help expand programs for young people in the area. Here's a look at what's happening now on Portage Avenue at Polo Park. Looks like a smooth drive so far this morning. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please send us a text. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is continuing to rise. Right now it's at $1.43. The provincial average is also up $1.36. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.38. And the lowest price in the city, that too has gone up to $1.24. All this information is on gasparty.com. Ainsley McPhail is live at a beautiful West St. Paul show home this morning. It's all about St. B's Mega Million Choices Lottery. We're going to find out about important deadlines happening tonight at midnight. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
All right, it's pleasant out here right now. The temperatures, nothing extreme about them. A little bit of light snow, but it is so incredibly light. Just a few flakes here or there and some sparkles to the air. The biggest thing I'm noticing is a little bit of a breeze, an 18K wind right now. It's more so that I don't have any shelter when it's coming from the direction that it is out of the east-northeast. -14 though, as a result of that breeze, feels more like -22. With the pressure rising, the humidity is sitting at 88%. But still, a lovely start to your morning. Back to what is normal for this time of year. Our temperatures as they rise throughout the day will pretty much be on par with what you would expect this time of year. Heavier clouds pretty much throughout the province and maybe some light snow. A better chance of that flurry activity through central and then northern Manitoba. And the best news I can give northern Manitoba is the extreme cold has ended. At least the warnings have, and you will notice a bit of a warm up today with some heavier clouds moving in. It won't be as clear, but with those clouds will come the snow and some milder temperatures for you. We're going to head on over to Ainsley now and see what's going on this morning. Good morning, Ainsley. What's up?
Oh, another lottery home and an important deadline tonight. Irina Bizinov joins us now. Sorry, that is Irina Ivanov Bizinov. Good morning. Oh, I was practicing it too. My goodness. Tell us about where we are right now.
Yeah, right now we're in the Sage Creek Show Home. So one of the grand prizes that you could win if you purchase a ticket to St. Boniface Mega Million Choices Lottery. And when you purchase a ticket, right, you have to remember it's a win-win because not only you can win amazing prizes like this home, like cash, but also you're directly supporting St. Boniface Hospital in so many ways. We're known, of course, for our cardiac center of excellence. You get to hear from a cardiac patient this morning and a cardiac researcher, but other than that, there's all different areas of the hospital, and so you're really impacting the patient care and innovative and leading edge machines and equipment that we're able to provide thanks to lottery buyers and our generous donors.
And with that too, the NICU is a huge arm of this. I understand that you have some storytelling.
Absolutely. If we want to talk about one piece of equipment that was really crucial in this past year, thanks to lottery buyers, is our high-frequency jet ventilators. Now, now it sounds really fancy, but really for NICU patients, there's about 500 to 600 NICU babies every year at St. Boniface Hospital. And this jet ventilator helps them breathe. You know, you can imagine the preemie babies, tiny lungs, right? It's not the same type of equipment you could use on an adult. These high jet frequency ventilators, they help these tiny little puffs of air into their gentle lungs, and so that helps, right, making sure that there's no long-term damage for those babies. So that's just one example of many of across the hospital where lottery ticket buyers can really help directly.
Sorry, we're out of time. And I have to tell them, okay, last chance, deadline, midnight tonight.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones is 91 points lower. The Nasdaq lost 10 points. The S&P index is flat. The Canadian dollar is set to 73.28 cents US. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 71 points up, and the Nikkei added 1,032 points. Good morning, it is 6:46. One person was taken to hospital in unstable condition following a house fire in the Chalmers neighborhood in northeast Winnipeg. The blaze broke out at a home in the 500 block of Larson Avenue around 8:30 Tuesday night. Crews were met with heavy smoke and flames when they arrived, but they managed to get it under control within about a half hour. One person was assessed by paramedics and later brought to hospital. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The NDP government's long-promised extended detox center in Point Douglas is now holding people high on meth.
This is a commitment that we made to you to make our community safer, that if somebody is causing issues in the emergency room or on a street corner because of meth psychosis, they can be held for up to 3 days.
The detention center opened last December, but until this point, it primarily served people under the influence of alcohol. Now those in meth psychosis or high on other long-lasting drugs can be detained for up to 72 hours. Premier Wamkanu acknowledged it took longer than anticipated to get the facility up to speed, but says it was important staff received appropriate training.
Just making sure that the equipment, the facility, the expertise, the training for the people who are going to be in this protective care center, that is all up to par to deal with somebody who's under meth psychosis, which could be a very challenging situation. Somebody might try all sorts of things to harm themselves, to harm others. The staff need to know how to respond.
The center has 20 sparse concrete rooms with toilets, sinks, and video surveillance. Canoe says the goal is to get people long-term drug treatment following the 72-hour detention. Hundreds of protesters gathered at the Ontario legislature to oppose changes to student loans and grants.
I don't think he understands that we need this money to be able to continue our education.
Police say 2 people were arrested. The Ontario government is planning to cut back on student grants offered through its loans program known as OSAP. This is part of an effort to boost funding to universities and colleges. The province is also lifting a tuition freeze that has been in place for 7 years. These changes come into effect for the next school year. Refunds have now been ordered for the illegal tariffs countries have been paying to the U.S. A judge with the U.S. Court of International Trade says companies that paid the tariffs that were later struck down by the United States Supreme Court should get their money back. America's top court struck down U.S. President Donald Trump's Liberation Day and fentanyl-related tariffs last month. The trade court judge says Customs and Border Protection will have to finalize refunds for importers who paid the tariffs. The refunds involve potentially billions of dollars. The judge has ordered that interest should also be paid. If you haven't yet laced up your skates for a rip down the Nestawaya River Trail, you're out of luck. The Forks has now officially closed the river skating trail for the season. The Red River portion closed earlier this week, and now the Assiniboine section is also off limits. Changing ice conditions from warmer temperatures and rising water levels mean it's no longer safe to keep the trail open. This year's River Trail was open for 62 days and extended more than 6 kilometers in length. For those still hoping to skate, the Canopy Rink and upper trails remain open at the Forks, weather permitting. Round robin play is wrapping up at the Montana's Brier in St. John's and is coming down to the wire to secure playoff spots.
Lock is there too. Can you just touch this up for 3? Can you just touch that?
Attaboy.
Oh, attaboy indeed.
Wow.
What a shot, Braden Calvert to
Those 3 points in the 8th end lifted Manitoba's Braden Calvert to a 9-4 win over Saskatchewan's Mike McEwen. Calvert improved to a 4-2 record and is now sitting 4th in Pool B. Meanwhile, fellow Manitoban Matt Dunstone needed an extra end to decide his match against the team from Yukon. In the end, he eked out a 6-5 win. He moves to 5-1 in Pool B. Both Dunstone and Calvert returned to the ice today. A number of wishes were set off into the sky during a lantern festival in Taiwan.
I wish for peace for everybody in the world. There's a lot going on, so a little bit of peace for every single person in the world would go a long way.
Hundreds of sky lanterns drifted into the night sky this week, marking a close to Lunar New Year festivities. Visitors wrote wishes and prayed for prosperity in the Year of the Horse as they released the lanterns into the sky. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound shoulder lane on Panet Road will be closed from Mission Street to Nairn Avenue. Following the rush, the eastbound curb lane on Regent Avenue will be closed between La Gimadière to Rougeau, and on Langside Street, both north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Ellis to Portage. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text.
Minus 14 this morning with an 18-kilometer-per-hour wind out of the east-northeast, and so as a result, it does feel more like minus 22. With the pressure rising, the humidity is sitting at 88%. We will have some heavier clouds hanging over pretty much the entire province today, actually. Where it's not completely clouded over, it will be later on today. But here's the good news about northern Manitoba. The last 2 days, you've been in the clear, enjoying the sunshine, but who's been enjoying it with wind chill values in the extremes and those extreme cold warnings in place? Well, the good news now, warmer temperatures and all of those warnings have lifted. But you're also going to see these clouds closing in and bringing some snow that we're certainly seeing here through central Manitoba, and that's going to be moving right up into the north as well. So expect things to be a little bit cloudier today, a little bit snowier, but certainly several degrees warmer. You remember the last few days you've been in the mid to high minus 20s, and those wind chill values have at times been in the minus 50s, or at least the mid to high minus 40s. So we will see some big improvements, or feel those big improvements today across much of northern Manitoba, even though it might not look as good. I mean, sure, sunshine is always nice to see, but if you can't even get outside to enjoy it, perhaps the heavier clouds and the bit of precipitation would be a better bet. Once we're looking through central Manitoba, yes, we're seeing some of that snow already. Into the south, we could see a few flakes as well. A little bit cooler today, especially here in southwestern Manitoba. Southeastern Manitoba will be a little bit milder. We'll be getting up to a high of about -5 here in Winnipeg. -4 is normal for this time of year, and you can see areas just further to the south or to the east of us might even be those couple of degrees warmer, and that includes much of northwestern Ontario, with Fort Frances pushing above the freezing mark. Well, we're still looking to push above the freezing mark for the coming weekend. The next couple of days will be pretty much normal for this time of year, or at least close to it. But yes, a big warm up for the weekend could come with some showers, and then settling back to those more seasonal temperatures next week.
Thank you, Terry. The conflict in the Middle East continues to impact what Canadians are paying at the pumps. CTV's Heather Wright is tracking how much more drivers are spending and how much higher prices could go.
Shock at the pump, with prices soaring across the country overnight.
I expect inflation by 3.5% by the end of the year.
According to GasBuddy.com, drivers in BC and PEI are paying the most, an average of 161.9 cents a litre in BC and 154.2 cents a litre in PEI. Quebec is seeing prices around 152 per litre, Ontario averaging 136.6 a litre, while the lowest prices are in Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta.
The longer this conflict goes, the greater the likelihood the price will reach levels that are extraordinarily uncomfortable for most Canadians.
20% of all oil traded passes through the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, which Iran controls. Tanker traffic has been disrupted, while energy facilities throughout the region have been attacked. While gas prices across the West are rising, China is feeling the pain much more acutely as they import 70% of their energy from the Persian Gulf. And some believe the U.S.-led strikes in Iran may also be a way to target Beijing ahead of President Trump's visit there later this month.
The fact that gas prices for me are a little bit higher while my competitor simply doesn't have gas is maybe another consideration.
Despite being an energy-rich nation, experts say Canadians are unlikely to see any relief at the pumps, as efforts to scale up oil and gas production cannot be done overnight. It's something that doesn't sit well with Luka Mihalik.
They should have done something 10 years ago, not today. Today, what can you do?
There are
More concerns the conflict in the Middle East will have an impact similar to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 4 years ago, when the price of a barrel of oil jumped by 20%. There is more oil at play in this conflict, but analysts say it all depends on how long the war lasts. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
People in Vancouver are reflecting on the mysterious bright flash and loud boom seen and heard all over the city Tuesday night. What exactly was it? CTV's Sinjin Alexander explains.
When a guest of the supersonic variety suddenly drops in on Metro Vancouver, this is what it sounds like. Just after 9 o'clock Tuesday, the night sky lit up. Then, nothing. Not for a couple of minutes. Until...
Felt a large boom. It sounded like an explosion.
Searched the house, upstairs, downstairs, didn't know, looked outside.
The public, puzzled, called the police, not sure if there'd been an accident, an earthquake.
The sound waves from the explosion were actually recorded by our seismographs.
For such a big bang, somehow, some didn't hear a thing.
Not till I got home and talked to my husband. He said, boy, you should have heard this boom last night.
Who heard it?
I did.
And who didn't?
We did not.
Now, BC's surprise visitor was a meteoroid, roughly 10 to 100 centimeters large. Big enough, say astronomers, to be considered a fireball, or what's known as a bolide.
They come in with so much energy, hitting the atmosphere, the denser parts of the atmosphere, causes the rock to just break apart.
They begin to vaporize, melt, and dump an astounding amount of energy.
We just heard like a big boom, and then like our front door was shaking.
You know when you feel a large boom and it just reverberates in your body?
Meteors are constantly bombarding the Earth, so it's not that unusual. The treat is that it was big enough that we got to see it and hear it as far away as Washington State. Now, it's possible some pieces survived and may have landed around Whistler or Pemberton.
However, it's a very mountainous area, and I don't expect any pieces to be recovered.
It was very nice this morning to figure out what that sound was.
Anyone who missed it needn't worry. Another cosmic guest will drop by soon enough. We just won't know when. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
So cool. All right, here's a look at what's happening now on the Provencher Bridge. Things are moving well here. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Thursday, March the 5th. Today, speed limit debate. Why drivers could soon be slowing down on residential streets. Plus, cycling safety. Which Winnipeg street could be getting a permanent bike lane. Plus, an icy anniversary. How a major blizzard 60 years ago impacted the province. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It is 7 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. At 7:52 in our Community Connection, we're going to tell you about the Valor Community Center. They've been around for a long time. They represent 3 different sites. So we're going to find out a little bit more about their history and how far they've come and why they're trying to get people in the community to join together and share some stories about the past and, of course, some photos and just get involved as a community again. So we're going to find out more about that a little later. But yesterday, Terry, it was the wind that really bothered me. It wasn't fun.
The wind was something else. Thankfully, it will be easing. Not as intense of a breeze today, although you will still notice it a little bit. We're currently dealing with an 18-kilometer-per-hour wind out of the east-northeast, and so as a result, minus 14, which is bang on normal for this time of year, actually feels more like minus 22. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 88%, and looking a lot brighter. We are minutes away from sunrise. Not that we're going to be seeing much of that sunshine today, and that's because of the heavier clouds all across southern and central Manitoba, and you can see the very active precipitation there. Some snow in Saskatchewan moving into that west central part of the province. We could even see a few flakes. We have been seeing a few flakes already this morning, and all of this will be moving up into northern Manitoba today as well. Where it's clear, that will change. You'll be seeing these clouds kind of squeezing in on you and some flurries coming both from the south and a little bit also from the west, so right into that northeastern part of the province. But the good news about northern Manitoba, even though it will cloud over and even though you're going to see some snow today, all of those extreme cold warnings have lifted. You're also in for a considerable warm up today, a little more pleasant. You can actually get outside and enjoy the weather. Maybe it's not the weather that you want to see this time of year, more snow, when I feel like a lot of us are already into that spring mindset, but it's March after all, and we know flurries are a very real thing this time of year. So we could be seeing them as well with some heavier clouds lingering. Temperatures here in the south are seeing a return to the more seasonal values, -4 being normal for this time of year. So the next couple of days, we're close to that. And then the weekend still looks like a great big warm up to come with perhaps some showers and then a return to those more seasonal temperatures as we look ahead to next week. Our art today with the flurries or rain. This is all thanks to Olivia, 5 years old, and we love seeing your art. So please keep sending it to us. But there's a new way to do that. Now you go to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, fill out the form. Your art will be shown here on the show if it's selected, but you'll also have a chance to enter for a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
A plan to slow down traffic on residential streets is gaining traction at City Hall. Yesterday, the Public Works Committee voted in favor of lobbying the province to change its Highway Traffic Act. That would open the door for Winnipeg to drop its default speed limit from 50 kilometers per hour to 40 or even lower. The vote came after hours of lively debate from Winnipeggers in favor and opposed to the idea. CTV's Danton Unger reports.
For years, Winnipeg parent Ian Walker has been pushing for the city to lower residential speed limits.
I feel worried every time my kids go out the door to walk or bike to school.
Now his calls may be one step closer to reality. Winnipeg's Public Service is recommending the city ask the province to amend its Highway Traffic Act. This would allow Winnipeg to drop its default speed limit on residential streets.
Ultimately, what will happen is it will come down to a vote at council. 40 remain the same, or 30.
The Public Service recommends a drop to 40 clicks, down from 50, noting this could be implemented quickly, requiring fewer signs while still keeping a distinction from school zone areas. It pointed to a recent study out of Edmonton that found a drop to 40 led to a 25% reduction in overall collisions. On Wednesday at the Public Works Committee meeting, dozens of residents of all ages weighed in.
Cars were zooming by us so fast. It's really scary when cars do that.
Some opposed the idea.
If you drive 40, you're getting passed and saluted frequently. I've tried it. It's going to create road rage and unsafe issues.
While others felt the city should go further.
This process should be expedited by presenting a city bylaw to decrease all residential streets to 30 kilometers an hour immediately.
Public Works Chair Councillor Janice Lukes says she supports a drop to 40 kilometers per hour.
It takes 18 seconds more to go 40 versus 50. This is only in residential neighborhoods, not the collectors, not the primary, not the priority ones, just the residentials.
A city report notes even with the province's approval, it could take a year to implement this. But Walker is hopeful it will happen eventually.
I suspect in a couple of years from now, people are going to be wondering why it took us so long to do it.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Public Works Committee voted unanimously in favor to push the motion forward. It still needs to make its way through the Executive Policy Committee and a full council vote. It was 60 years ago when a blizzard blew into the province, burying Winnipeg and southern Manitoba.
It was snow up to your waist on Main Street.
The snowstorm on March the 4th, 1966, was one of the worst to hit Manitoba, lasting 20 hours and dropping 35.6 centimeters of snow. The blizzard brought with it 113 kilometer-an-hour winds. The Winnipeg airport reported having zero visibility for 14 hours. The storm shut down the city, leaving behind massive snow drifts and 12 feet of snow in some areas. Bus services were canceled and people were told to stay home. But some of those who did venture out took to using snowmobiles to navigate the streets. Former CKY DJ Chuck McCoy was on air when the snow started falling.
In those days, they didn't have the snow removal facilities and they didn't have accurate weather forecasting like they do today.
McCoy says one of the more unusual stories involving the blizzard was a gold bar heist at the Winnipeg airport. The flying bandit, Ken Leishman, and 4 accomplices stole an Air Canada truck with nearly $400,000 in gold on March the 1st, 1966. They planned to leave Winnipeg in the days following, but that didn't happen thanks to the blizzard. And soon after, police caught them. It's been called the most important meal of the day, but many people often skip breakfast due to busy lives or lack of hunger. So is the first meal of the day really essential for our health?
It comes down to personal preference and what works best for your body.
That's registered dietitian Julia Zampano, who says breakfast does come with benefits. For some, that includes better cognitive function, lower risk of diabetes, better blood sugar management, and appetite control. But those who skip breakfast may also find they have a clearer mind, more alertness, and better digestion. So she says the best thing to do is just listen to your body.
Those people who chronically skip breakfast or just don't feel hungry in the morning have likely been that way their whole lives. Those who wake up hungry and ready to eat, again, physiologically, that's what their body is telling them.
No matter which group you belong to, Zampano says your first food of the day should be made up of mostly protein and fiber. She says meals with high fat or high sugar can lead to a pretty significant crash 30 to 90 minutes later. Some healthy first meal ideas include Greek yogurt with berries, nuts and ground flaxseed, cottage cheese with tomato and a slice of whole grain toast, avocado toast with an egg, or overnight oats. A young Blue Jays fan gave up his prize and stole hearts in the stands during spring training. A foul ball sent a Detroit Tigers fan over the seats in a failed attempt to catch it. But watch as this little Jays fan picks up the ball, and instead of hanging on to it, he hands it over to the man who was about to walk away with disappointment. True little Canadian there. Here's a look at Osborne. It looks like things are moving quite well in this part of the city starting off this Thursday. If you see any issues out on the streets, send us a text, please.
Canada and Australia have signed new agreements on critical minerals as Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney makes a landmark address to the Australian Parliament, a sign of the developing bond between the middle powers. In a world of great power rivalry, middle powers have a choice: compete for favor or combine for strength, is what Carney told lawmakers. Canada and Australia produce about a third of global lithium and uranium, as well as more than 40% of global iron ore. Well, the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says about 3,900 homes changed hands in February, down 6.3% from the same month last year, as sales also declined 1% on a seasonally adjusted basis from January. The average selling price was down 7.1% from February of 25. It's just over $1 million right now. The composite benchmark price, meant to represent the typical home, was down nearly 8% year over year. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
We're talking about the St. B Mega Millions Choices Lottery, and you're not in West St. Paul. You're actually at a beautiful home in Sage Creek. Good morning, Ainsley.
Yeah, we went there earlier, knocked on the door, looked inside, said, that looks like a great lottery home as well. There's 6 grand prize options, Rochelle, and we got to see 2 of them today. We're double dipping. It's fantastic. The one in Sage Creek, stunning. I love getting to do this, and you could be the proud owner if you purchase a ticket, of course, of the St. B Mega Million Choices Lottery. This is a big deadline, though. Last chance for the early bird deadline, midnight. Now, with more winners than ever, over $280,000 in prizes, and of course it's for a good cause. Coming up at both 7:27 and 7:42, we're chatting with Lionel, who's had several surgeries over several years. He's in his late 80s now, Rochelle. He looks fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, he's probably gonna have more energy than me this morning.
Oh, good. Okay, can't wait to see him. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The breeze was not fun yesterday. How's it feeling out there now?
Well, there's still a slight breeze. It's not as strong, but the direction that it's coming from, I have zero shelter from it. So honestly, I almost preferred yesterday's stronger winds, at least for the time that I was up here, because of the direction that it was coming from. And I didn't find myself directly in the path of it, whereas this morning I am, as it's out of the east-northeast, 17 kilometers per hour. It does have a slight effect to what it's feeling like out here. Our actual temperature sits at minus 14, which is bang on normal for this time of year. But then because of that breeze, it feels more like minus 22. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 90%. So we've got some heavier clouds hanging over us. We'll likely see them throughout the day today. And I've still been seeing just little bits of light scattered snow. And that'll be the case pretty much across the province. If you're not seeing it yet, I'm talking about northern Manitoba, who has some slightly clearer conditions. But those clouds will be moving in and some snow will be coming along with them. But for northern Manitoba, you've been stuck in the deep freeze with those clear conditions for the past few days. And today will be the day that you're kind of seeing a bit of a return to maybe more seasonal temperatures. At least those extreme cold warnings have lifted across northern Manitoba. But now a change up with the conditions. Adios to the sunshine, and the heavier clouds are going to be bringing some snow to your region. We'll be seeing those clouds and the possible flurries here in the south, but our temperatures are also climbing pretty much close to what is expected for this time of year, at least today and tomorrow, before it warms up even more this weekend.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Well, it's time now for a question of the day. Today we want to know, do you eat breakfast? Do you skip breakfast? And if you do eat breakfast, what do you eat? Let us know which group you belong to. You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name, please.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Well, it's time for our Pet of the Week reveal. This week, we're celebrating Kobe. He's a 5-year-old playful little guy. Kobe is half mini schnauzer, half Havanese cross. He's all dressed up with nowhere to go, but look at this gentleman with his blue tie. Congratulations to you, Kobe and Mike. We love your Pet of the Week submissions, so please keep them coming. Share a photo and a fun story about your pet, dog, cat, bird, or anybody at petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then make sure to watch Thursdays to see if your pet is named our Pet of the Week. Here's a look outside now on Taché Avenue. Looks good so far. We'll be right back. Good morning. It is 7:16. A motion to build permanent bike lanes on a stretch of Wellington Crescent is moving forward at City Hall. The Public Works Committee voted 3-1 in favor after shooting down a similar motion to install temporary bike lanes. If passed by Council, the Public Service will task an engineering consultant to design a permanent plan for bike lanes on Wellington between Academy Road and Stradbrook. Construction would happen in spring-summer 2027 and cost about $5.5 million. The Executive Policy Committee will discuss the matter at its next meeting. The Port of Churchill has signed a major agreement with one of the biggest cargo shipping facilities in the world to collaborate on the port's design. The Canadian port will join forces with the Belgian port of Antwerp-Bruges on business development as well as future trade plans. While not yet a sure thing, the site in northern Manitoba is planning a multi-billion-dollar expansion as one of the projects the Liberal government has declared to be in the national interest. Breast cancer survival rates continue to improve. A new report from The Lancet found from 1990 to 2023, death rates in high-income countries have fallen by nearly 30%, thanks to decades of investment in screening, early detection, and treatment. But in the world's lowest-income countries, the trend is moving in the opposite direction. Deaths from breast cancer have nearly doubled over the same period. Breast cancer is the most diagnosed cancer among women globally, and the number of cases worldwide is estimated to reach more than 3.5 million by 2050. Winnipeg Transit riders will no longer need to wonder where their bus is. The city says passengers are now able to track buses in near real time using a smartphone. The Winnipeg Transit app and website, as well as Navigo, allows riders to see buses on a map. Their location is updated based on GPS. Clicking on the bus will provide more information, including how recently its location was updated. If there hasn't been a recent GPS report from the bus, the city says its location won't be visible in the app. The update comes after Winnipeg Transit's GPS system experienced widespread issues last summer and fall. However, the city says it's now performing with the same accuracy as it did before. Here's a look right now at what's going on in Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. We have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. If you see anything out there, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
In entertainment, a Game of Thrones movie is reportedly on its way to the big screen. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers is developing the title with Beau Willimon, who wrote hit streaming series Andor and House of Cards. Just like the spin-off shows House of the Dragon and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's expected the movie will be a prequel to Game of Thrones, which aired its final episode in May 2019. A different story from the world of Westeros will debut on stage in the UK this summer. It wasn't supposed to come out until today, but in a surprise, James Gunn's DC Studios released it early.
All right.
I could have died.
You want me to train you? I'm training you.
Lanterns is a very different type of superhero show. It stars Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan and Aaron Pierre as his trainee Jon Stewart. It's been described as a gritty, true detective-style show with powers. You can check it out on Crave TV here in Canada this August. And comedian Mike Myers is set to receive a special honor at this year's Canadian Screen Awards. Myers, who is from Scarborough, will accept the Academy Icon Award. Recently, the 62-year-old has been outspoken in supporting Canada amid annexation threats by the Trump administration. He appeared in ads alongside Prime Minister Mark Carney and wore a Canada is not for sale shirt on Saturday Night Live. Nominees for this year's Screen Awards will be announced in 3 weeks, with the ceremony being held on May 31st. Your primetime lineup kicks off with Next Level Chef at 7. Catch 911 Nashville at 8. Following is Grey's Anatomy at 9. And Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage wraps up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV. Mike Myers was also single-handedly the guy who started this whole elbows up movement as well. He did that.
Was that him?
Yeah, he started that on SNL as well.
Okay, all right. Well, that was fun. Yeah. Hey, what a treasure. What a treasure to have here. So patriotic and absolutely a great person to have, you know, kind of out front and center, especially with those SNL appearances. It's just all the laughs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we're waking up to this morning. You can see outside as we look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Backfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Those heavy clouds hanging over the city, and you can see just that little bit of a haze. That's the light snow that's falling from them as well. So I've been noticing that up on the rooftop. Every now and then just a few light and scattered flurries, but some very steady little ice crystals that are hanging in the air this morning as well. Temperature-wise, though, we are back to seasonal. Minus 14 is normal for a low temperature, and very similar temperatures are being felt right now all throughout much of southern Manitoba, or being reached, I should say, because it actually feels a little bit colder with the winds factored in. And I'll show you the wind chill values in a second. First, let's take a look up through northern Manitoba. These are big improvements coming off of the temperatures you've been experiencing over the past few days that have had you in the minus 30s, high minus 30s, and wind chill values in those minus 40s or at times minus 50s. Today, warmer temperatures, slightly better wind chills. Churchill's still sitting at minus 40, but most places are seeing considerably milder wind chill values. Here in the south, low minus 20s, high minus 20s is what it's feeling like with that wind. But for northern Manitoba, that improvement means that all of those extreme cold warnings have lifted now. Heavier clouds, sure, some snow. Yeah, we're seeing some of that as well, and that's all going to push right up into the north. We're also seeing a few of those scattered flakes of snow and may off and on throughout the day today. The temperatures, though, from minus 12 as kids get settled into the classroom through the lunch hour, minus 9, and by the time they're coming home again, minus 6, rising another degree into the evening time and topping out about minus 5. Minus 4 is normal, so the next couple of days close to those seasonal temperatures, but a big warm up as we look ahead to the weekend. It could come with some showers. A stunning shot of the moon out in the Enola area. Thanks to Shayna for sharing this. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
March 5th, 1982. Steve Bodborski of Toronto became the first North American to win the World Cup Men's Downhill Skiing Championship. He achieved the title with 3 wins and 2 seconds in the 10-race event. Later that year, he was made an officer of the Order of Canada. March 5th, 1995. The disgraced Canadian Airborne Regiment was officially disbanded during ceremonies at CFB Petawawa in eastern Ontario. It was followed by the laying up of the colors, where 2 regimental flags were placed in the base museum, and a final dismissal for the unit's 660 paratroopers. March 5th, 2013. Minneapolis-based Target stores opened their doors to customers at locations in Canada for the first time. The first stores were near Toronto. In January 2015, the retailer announced it would close all 133 Canadian stores after weak sales and dismal profit projections. For years, music fans have complained concert ticket prices are too high. Now a trial has begun with an aim at bringing down those prices. ABC's Sophie Flay has the details.
That could lead to the breakup of Live Nation is underway in New York. A jury set to decide whether the entertainment giant, which combined with Ticketmaster in 2016, is driving up prices in the music industry. In opening statements, a Justice Department lawyer pointed to the pre-sale event for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in 2022, when Ticketmaster's site was overwhelmed and crashed, saying, "This case is about power, the power of a monopolist to control competition. Today, the concert ticket industry is broken."
The debacle that was trying to get tickets for the Eras Tour is at the heart of this case, because Ticketmaster and Live Nation can't get away from how horrible that experience was for so many people.
The government claims Live Nation uses strong-arm tactics to control the industry, such as demanding artists use its promotion services in order to perform at its venues, and pressuring major venues into signing deals. Live Nation's attorney disputes those claims, saying the government is cherry-picking examples, saying the marketplace is more competitive than ever, and blaming not the company, but online bots for the Taylor Swift ticket sale debacle. An executive who oversees Taylor Swift's tours is among those set to testify at the trial.
Leading into the trial, Live Nation actually won a major argument, having the judge agree to dismiss some of the claims that the company had monopolized concert promotions and bookings. But the company still has to defend itself against claims that it pressures venues to sign exclusive ticketing deals and makes artists use its concert promotion services.
The trial is expected to last 6 weeks. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Well, indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Good luck. Coming up, Ainsley McPhail is live at this beautiful show home in Sage Creek. It's all about the St. B Mega Million Choices Lottery and patient care. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's hanging out with a patient at this beautiful show home in Sage Creek. Good morning.
Good morning. I feel like we are hanging out. I just need a couple coffees here and we can go about our day. Where is our coffee? Well, he's a former broadcaster, so he's very well spoken. Lionel Moore is joining me now, but we're obviously talking about the Mega Million Choices Lottery for St. B. There's a big deadline midnight tonight. Lionel, I understand that you actually reached out to them because you want to share your story. Tell us all about it.
Well, I owe a lot to St. Boniface Hospital, and I think that everybody should be supporting the St. Boniface Hospital Foundation because they do so much. They did so much for me. As a younger person, my family doctor found out that I had a heart murmur. And we watched that and watched that and watched that. And finally it got so bad that it became a valve that was had to be changed. And so I had it changed. And that lasted for 8 years. And we were going to Texas for a lot of winters, and over one winter, I was riding my bike one day, and I was kind of out of air, and we had got to know this emergency doctor down there, Dr. Wan, and I went to see him. I said, Dr. Wan, I said, something's going on here, and he says, you know, check me over, and he said, be in your best interest to go back and have that checked. It turned out the valve was leaking. So back to St. Boniface Hospital, and again, it was like coming home there. It's just like coming to a family there. I was born there, and so I'm sort of like a Canada goose, you know, wherever you're born, you go away, and you come back to the same place. And it was just like coming back to family. It was really, and I can't say enough about the staff and how they take care of you. And when you're going through something serious like that, it's nice to have people that are pretty sympathetic to you, you know, because you're a little bit a little bit nervous.
I know it's super unfair for me to say, tell me about your heart surgeries in 2.5 minutes. And so we have another conversation coming up at 7:42.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. All right, bringing in Terry now. It's warming up a little bit.
Yeah, the next couple of days we're going to see a return to the more seasonal temperatures, and then an even bigger warm up to come on the other side of that, which is perfectly timed out for the weekend. But it's probably going to be a really messy weekend, not just with the mild temperatures, but with the possibility of showers. Here's a look outside, and you can see what I was talking about earlier. If you see right along the horizon how hazy it looks, that's the little bit of snow that we're seeing out there, or some ice crystals that are hanging in the air, and of course the heavier clouds that are right above. -14 feels like -22 with a 17K wind out of the east-northeast, the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 90%. So yes, it's going to be a kind of gray looking day pretty much across the province. The last few days it's been very clear throughout northern Manitoba. It's also been incredibly cold throughout northern Manitoba with the extreme cold warnings in place. So the good news here is that while you're not going to be seeing as much sunshine today, heavier clouds will squeeze in on you, perhaps bringing some snow. You're also out of those extreme freezing temperatures, so you will notice a slight bit of a warm up as well. And yes, there's some of that snow showing up through central Manitoba. All of that will be moving up into the north, but we're seeing some of that right here in Winnipeg as well. On the lighter side, but still some scattered snow is likely. -5 is where we're headed today, and that might be more so into the evening time. So it'll be a slow ascend to those more seasonal temperatures, and taking until around supper time before we're actually reaching that high. And then overnight only dropping to -9. That'll keep us above seasonal. Tomorrow -6. Not a lot of movement with the temperatures, but we will start to see a little more sunshine after today. And then looking into the weekend, and that's when we've got those plus digits waiting for us, but the possibility of some showers as well.
A semi from a Manitoba-based business was involved in a fiery crash in Saskatoon Tuesday.
Truck accidents before, but this was huge, man. Yeah, I can still see the diesel on the roads and stuff, and yeah, it's crazy, man.
This was the scene on the busy Circle Drive in Saskatoon Tuesday morning. A witness tells CTV News he saw a police officer and a bystander pull the driver from the vehicle minutes before the cab became engulfed in flames. Police later said they believe the driver suffered a medical event and crashed into a light pole. The truck had Penner International decals on the side, which is a freight service based in Steinbach. The NDP government's long-promised extended detox center in Point Douglas is now holding people high on meth.
This is a commitment that we made to you to make our communities safer, that if somebody is causing issues in the emergency room or on a street corner because of meth psychosis, they can be held for up to 3 days.
The detention center opened last December, but until this point, it primarily served people under the influence of alcohol. Now those in meth psychosis or high on other long-lasting drugs can be detained for up to 72 hours. Premier Wap Kinew acknowledged it took longer than anticipated to get the facility up to speed, but says it was important staff received appropriate training.
Just making sure that the equipment, the facility, the expertise, the training for the people who are going to be in this protective care center, that is all up to par to deal with somebody who's under meth psychosis, which could be a very, very challenging situation. Somebody might try all sorts of things to harm themselves, to harm others. The staff need to know how to respond.
The center has 20 sparse concrete rooms with toilets, sinks, and video surveillance. Kinew says the goal is to get people long-term drug treatment following the 72-hour detention. Prime Minister Mark Carney announced new trade and defense agreements with Australia.
Every agreement signed, every coalition deepened, every commitment made is variable geometry in practice.
His trip in Australia also saw him address Parliament in Canberra, where he highlighted the ways both countries are similar. Carney announced Australia is signing on to the G7 Critical Minerals Alliance, as well as new partnerships on AI and defense. Canadian soldiers will begin training on the new radar Canada is buying from Australia later this year. The Prime Minister will head to Japan later today for the final part of this Indo-Pacific trip. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre is pitching Canada as a reliable global energy supplier under a Conservative government.
A supply agreement for natural gas that will require our government rapidly approve liquefaction facilities and pipelines to supply you with a predictable, low-cost source of natural gas into the future.
Poilievre was speaking in Berlin as part of his first foreign trip as opposition leader. Europe has seen energy prices spike because of the war in Ukraine and as tensions rise in the Middle East. Poilievre is suggesting Germany look to Canada for natural gas. Right now, Canada does not have any export terminals on the East Coast. Poilievre's trip is being funded by his party, and he's not acting in any official capacity. Millions of people in Cuba have no power as the country continues to struggle with fuel shortages. 2/3 of the island is stuck without power after what officials call an unexpected shutdown of a main power plant. Cuba has been hit by power cuts in recent years, and it's only gotten worse since January when the U.S. blocked oil from reaching Cuba from allies like Venezuela. Video games are digital, but the money kids spend on them is 100% real.
$1 doesn't equal like one Robux or like one Fortnite skin.
Microtransactions in video games can add up fast. That's especially true for kids who may not have fully grasped the value of money. The Essex County School Board in Ontario has launched its Money Smarts for Life program. It's meant to teach students financial literacy in a digital world. They're also learning the basics like building a budget and saving for a rainy day. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound shoulder lane on Panet Road will be closed from Mission Street to Nairn Avenue. Following the rush, the eastbound curb lane on Regent Avenue will be closed between La Jumadière to Rougeau. And on Langside Street, both north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Ellis to Portage. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.43. The provincial average is $1.36. In Winnipeg, the average is higher at $1.38. And the lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Right now, it's cloudy, -14 with the wind chill feels like -22. More Your Morning Winnipeg after this break.
There's a look outside, a little bit foggy from the snow. -4 at the moment, feels though like -22, and that's all due to the wind. 17 kilometers per hour out of the east-northeast. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 90%. So yes, we're seeing a little bit of snow, more so through central Manitoba, but a few flakes falling here in Winnipeg as well, and we could be seeing them all through the south today, but a better chance through northern Manitoba where the system is headed. And you can see slightly clearer conditions across the north. Well, it's been clear for the past couple of days, but also incredibly cold. And now the extreme cold warnings have lifted, but the clouds will move in, bringing some snow. So expect some flurries to be falling across northern Manitoba, but the temperature is so much milder than where you've been over the past couple of days. Mid to high minus teens, and yes, the clouds, yes, probably some snow as well. But at least it's the kind of temperatures that you can get outside and enjoy a little bit, unlike the past several days where you've been dealing with those extremes and it's been dangerously cold up north. So nice bit of a break from it, even if it comes with less than ideal conditions with the snow moving in. And central and southern Manitoba will also see those flurries with the cooler temperatures, especially here through the southwest. A -4 is normal for this time of year, and much of southwestern Manitoba will remain in those minus double digits. Now, it'll be considerably milder here in the southeast, getting up in those minus single digits. Some areas further south of us will be even milder yet, possibly pushing above the freezing mark in Sprague, and then further east, slightly milder too. Places like Fort Francis could also see some plus digits on tap today. We could see those plus digits by the weekend, but the next couple of days still closer to seasonal, with -4 being that normal high. We'll be right in that zone with the possibility of flurries. Then the warm up comes, but possibly with some showers, and settling back to those more seasonal temperatures as we look ahead to next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live in a beautiful home in Sage Creek. We're going to continue our discussion with a St. Boniface patient. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm joined by Lionel Moore. We talked about his heart surgeries in the first segment. Now we're going to take it back to 2023-24, where he went back again, and you're a grateful patient, Lionel. Why is that?
I was a grateful patient because I was having trouble seeing out of one eye, and I thought, you know, if anything goes wrong, I always go to a doctor. So I went to my ophthalmologist, and he said, you know, I think your ophthalmic artery is blocked, which could mean your carotid artery is blocked, and that's big time. So he referred me to my GP, Dr. Kevin Coates, who we've gone to for 100 years, and my cardiologist, and they said, no, this has got to be done right away. So it was done right away, and the other one was sort of blocked too, and I said, well, look, can't we just do the other one right now too? Because this was like going for a haircut. It was really not bad. And he said, are you lucky? You're lucky you didn't have a stroke or a heart attack, or when we're doing that one, it's a very serious surgery, and we only do it when it's absolutely necessary. So I was lucky. I was blessed, you know. St. Boniface took care of both my heart valve problems, my carotid artery, and the ophthalmic doctor was pretty good. I mean, your eyes are good for seeing out, but they can also see in. They can see a lot of things inside that can tell what's going on with your body. Didn't know that before, but it's true.
We're almost out of time, so I don't want to give you the mic any longer. I'm so sorry, but I do want people to buy a ticket. I'm sure he could give you all the reasons, but he just explained all of the reasons. So head to a link on the website, stbmegamillionchoices.ca.
Thank you, Ainsley. Many Canadians are looking at different destinations for March break this year. But does that mean different vaccinations or other travel preps? CTV's Pauline Chan has some tips.
With Cuba, Mexico, and Florida off many Canadians' lists for March break travel, Dr. Christine Palme says she's hearing more about patients planning for Southeast Asia, the Mediterranean, and Central America.
I think that there is a shift in location choice just based on what's happening globally.
And that may mean different vaccinations are needed.
Some locations such as Africa, Southeast Asia, they do require pre-planning in order to get the vaccines. There's also some financial costs that may be associated with this that may need some financial planning in advance.
For example, anti-malaria medications must be taken before, during, and after your trip, depending on where you're traveling, and new vaccinations are always being developed.
We now have vaccines against chikungunya, which is an illness that can be quite devastating. There's some things down the pipeline for dengue fever.
Measles is spreading in many countries, so make sure all your standard immunizations are up to date.
Patients who have chronic diseases may need to speak to their family doctors about bringing certain medications, antibiotics, particularly if they're traveling somewhere remotely. So, really there's not a one size that fits all.
Anti-nausea medication, diarrhea treatment, and pain meds are recommended for your first aid kits. Don't forget sun protection and bug repellent, especially in areas where mosquito-borne illnesses like Zika, chikungunya, and malaria are common. And while March break is less than 2 weeks away, there is still time for vaccinations.
Generally speaking, nothing is too late.
Dr. Palme says visiting a travel clinic, especially for overseas destinations, is a good idea. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A group of brown bears is waking up to spring sunshine after a 3-month hibernation. Whipsnade Zoo's 4 European brown bears have emerged. Zookeepers captured them slowly waking up and taking in their surroundings. They'll spend their first few days easing back into activity before livening up to enjoy rolling in the field and splashing in the pool. A number of wishes were set off into the sky during a lantern festival in Taiwan.
I wish for peace for everybody in the world. There's a lot going on, so a little bit of peace for every single person in the world would go a long way.
Hundreds of sky lanterns drifted into the night sky this week, marking a close to Lunar New Year festivities. Visitors wrote wishes and prayed for prosperity in the year of the horse as they released the lanterns into the sky. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 33rd birthday, cashed in. Love Mom, Les, your sons, and the rest of your family. Happy 18th birthday, Hannah. With lots of love from your dad, mom, and family. Happy 4th birthday to Brooks. Love from all your family. Happy birthday, Lily May. Love Mom, Grandma, Grandpa, and your siblings. Happy 4th birthday, Pierce. Hope you have a fun day with lots of love from your family. Happy 7th birthday, Elias. Love your family. And a happy 86th birthday to Marion with lots of love from the family. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations. Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Okay, -5 is where we're headed today, which pretty much puts us on par with what's normal for this time of year. -4 being that seasonal high. Last year was a little bit milder. We got up to -1. But all the way back in 2013 degrees. Now, we're not going to see any kind of record-breaking temperatures over the next few days, but we will get a big warm-up into the weekend. It's just not going to shatter any records by any means, but plus digits will be waiting for us Saturday, Sunday, but still for the next couple of days, kind of more what is normal for this time of year. And what is normal in March? Well, snow, I suppose. That's likely what we're going to be seeing today across the province. -14 is where we're waking up to this morning, normal for this time of year for a low temperature, but it does feel more like -22 with that 17K wind out of the east-northeast, the pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 90%, and yes, gray sky above, and pretty much across the province, heavier clouds are expected and some snow to go along with it. Heavier snow through central Manitoba that'll be pushing up into northern Manitoba, where the best news I have to share is that all of those extreme cold warnings across northern Manitoba have now lifted, and you're going to see a return to slightly milder temperatures, or closer to what is normal for this time of year. Here in the south, we'll see some scattered snow today, nowhere near as heavy as what will move through central and northern Manitoba, but the heavier clouds, a few light flurries, and seasonal temperatures expected.
The Valor Community Centre operates 3 West End sites that have all kinds of programs like sports, after-school drop-ins, and even childcare facilities. They're gathering places for the community that have a long history of bringing people together. In fact, one of the sites, formerly known as the Orioles Community Club, has been around for 75 years. Valor Community Centre is now putting together a newsletter which will include stories from the past, recipes, and even pet photos. And joining us now to tell us more is the GM, Liz Jakimick. Hello, Liz.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of history in the community in the West End. You manage 3 sites right now, but they all had very different roles in the community when they first started. And why are they so essential in a community, especially in the West End?
So community centers were created to be the hub of the area that they were in. It's really important to have some place that community can gather, hang out, a safe place that you can just go and take a dance class or do some art activities or borrow a book or use a computer, anything like that. So it's so important that community has somewhere like that they can go.
And over time, in those 75 years, that's exactly, for the Orioles, for example, that's exactly what it was. It was a place to gather and a place to sort of connect with your community. And so now that you're managing all 3 of those sites, you're trying to go back to the grassroots of that. Tell us why.
I think it's really important that kids and families can come, and when they do sign up for a class or a sports team, that they're playing with other people from their community at their community centers, instead of being farmed out to other community centers or other teams, which is where the sports associations tend to send the kids if there aren't enough people to form a whole team.
Okay.
It's also important because grassroots sports are affordable.
Right.
Association sports are, the cost for them is huge these days, and most of that cost goes to administration.
Okay, so that's something families can definitely benefit from. Okay, let's talk about this newsletter, because this is something brand new. You're just launching it. You're really trying to get the community involved by not only talking about the future and what's happening right now, but also going into the past a little bit. Tell us about the newsletter.
So we had a paper newsletter for a little while a few years ago. It's too costly to maintain mailing everything out. So we have a new communications person, and she is trying to get an online newsletter up and running. So we're asking the community for submissions, anything from recipes to pet photos, like you mentioned, to memories from the past, especially with our 75th birthday for Orioles coming up. We have, we'd love to hear stories of people that have been at the community center. We'd love to hear what people would like to see at the community center. It helps us plan programming.
Okay.
Really anything. Kids can send in jokes, art that they've made, like anything like that. So
this being online, is it almost a way to connect with the next generation?
Hopefully that will be like one side effect of it. If it's online, we're more likely to get some of the younger generation accessing it and stuff. Hopefully we can also do maybe some printed versions to have at the community centers, and then people can take them home if they want them. And I mean, if people want to mail stuff in, they absolutely can. We can figure out a way to
to include it somehow.
And yeah.
Okay, so you're asking for people to do this right now. How can they do that?
Our website is valorcc.ca. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So they can send us stuff through that. They can email it to my email, which is also on our website and that kind of thing.
So get involved, right? You want people in the community to really get involved.
Absolutely.
In the West End, and lots of history is always good to sort of take a walk down memory lane.
Yeah.
You're also, of course, being a community center, you're always looking for volunteers.
Always.
And cash. What do you want people to think about with that?
For volunteers, it's a really nice way to get to know the people in your area. It's a really good way to make your community center feel like your own place. Take some ownership of it. Take some pride in it. And I mean, it can go anywhere. You can volunteer for an hour a month to, you know, more extensive things like our board positions. And then yeah, hopefully, you know, with more volunteers and more, you know, busyness in the centers, then we can get more funding for programming and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and of course, then you are planning for the next 75 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Liz, thank you so much for sharing this.
Thank you for having me.
If you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. We're taking a trip to Montana's Briar for this one. It's PEI taking on Nova Scotia. PEI skip Tyler Smith facing one with his last. Trying to slash this one into the rings to wipe out that one red stone, and he makes it. That is good for 3. What a shot from Smith. Helps PEI pick up their 3rd win at this year's Briar and earning your must-see moment from Wednesday. And we've got more coverage of the Montana's Briar for you today. It all begins at 8 a.m. Eastern over on TSN 1 and 5. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a terrific Thursday.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Thursday, March the 5th. Today, speed limit debate. Why drivers could soon be slowing down on Winnipeg's residential streets. Plus, AI rules coming. Why the province is asking Manitobans for input on new artificial intelligence rules. And baby monkey buzz, a tiny new arrival at Assiniboine Park Zoo, is already melting hearts. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's 8 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Coming up at 8:15, we're going to tell you about how Shared Health and the province, they're really on a recruitment drive right now, trying to recruit new pharmacists, international pharmacists from all over the world, including in the U.S., but they're also looking to train more here. So we're going to find out what the need is right now for pharmacists and why they're a vital and integral part of the healthcare system. But let's talk about the weather first before we go there. That wind was sharp yesterday and humid. The humidity was a factor for me too, I felt.
Okay. Well, yeah, I certainly noticed the winds as well. They were pretty strong and gusty at times, but they have eased somewhat. Now, here's the thing. We're looking out and we're not seeing much happiness. I don't know. I always associate the sunshine with a little bit of levity or perhaps a better mood. And right now we're just seeing the heavier clouds and some fog and a little bit of light snow as well that'll be off and on throughout the day. It's -14, which is normal for this time of year, and it feels like -22 with that 17K wind. It's out of the northeast this morning with the pressure rising and that humidity, well, it's up there at 90%. So you can see it does look a little bit gray and maybe gloomy out there. I do tend to associate that. Maybe that's just me. Some people love this kind of weather. It will be a little bit foggy throughout the day today, or with some ice crystals hanging in the air, even some straight up snowflakes here in the south. But you can see far more active with that snow through central Manitoba and then moving up into the north where it has been sunny. It's been incredibly cold for northern Manitoba, and that is about to change. All of the extreme cold warnings, those have lifted across the north, and you're waking up to temperatures that are far more easily dealt with than the extremes, because those extremes had basically all of those warnings in place were because it's so dangerously cold, and now you're actually being able to get outside and enjoy some of the weather. Well, what is the weather? Snow. So those heavier clouds will move in. They're going to bring some flurries across much of northern Manitoba, central Manitoba as well. Even here in the south, we'll likely see some of that activity. Tomorrow we might get a little more clearing, a little more sunshine to enjoy, and fairly seasonal temperatures are expected throughout the rest of the week, and then much milder temperatures expected for the weekend, pushing up into the plus digits Saturday and Sunday. Could come with some showers, and then seeing a return to what is normal for this time of year, with -4 being that seasonal high. 5-year-old Olivia has sent us some art that we love to see today. So thank you for this, Olivia. And now there's a new way to share your art with us. Go to our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form online. You'll then be entered to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenaston. Good luck to you.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
A plan to slow down traffic on residential streets is gaining traction at City Hall. Yesterday, the Public Works Committee voted in favor of asking the province to change its Highway Traffic Act. That would open the door for Winnipeg to lower its default speed limit from 50 kilometers an hour to 40 or even lower. The vote followed hours of debate from Winnipeggers, both for and against the idea.
I feel worried every time my kids go out the door to walk or bike to school.
Winnipeg parent Ian Walker has been pushing the city to lower residential speed limits. Now that idea may be a step closer. City staff is recommending Winnipeg ask the province to amend the Highway Traffic Act, allowing the city to set a lower default speed. The Public Service suggests dropping it to 40 kilometers an hour, saying it could be done quickly while keeping school zones distinct. The report also points to a study in Edmonton where a drop to 40 led to a 25% reduction in collisions. At Wednesday's Public Works meeting, dozens of residents weighed in, some opposed, others saying the city should go further. Public Works Chair Councillor Janice Luke supports the change.
It takes 18 seconds more to go 40 versus 50. This is only in residential neighborhoods, not the collectors, not the primary, not the priority ones, just the residential.
The committee voted unanimously to move the plan forward. It now heads to the Executive Policy Committee and then a full council vote. The province is launching public consultations on the future of artificial intelligence. The government says it will focus on 2 issues: modernizing data privacy laws and establishing clear rules around the use of AI. It says this could potentially lead to age limits for use or laws which require companies to create an opt-in process for data usage. The consultations will involve youth, educators, experts, municipalities, private and nonprofit organizations, as well as Indigenous governments. The world is already fascinated by an abandoned monkey with a stuffed animal named Punch. Now get ready to fall in love with a brand new baby monkey that's a lot closer to home. Take a look. This new baby monkey was born at Assiniboine Park Zoo. The female Geldes monkey was born on December 18th. The zoo says her mom, Evie, showed some strong maternal instincts, but couldn't produce the milk her baby needed to survive. So zookeepers stepped in to hand raise the little monkey. That meant staying overnight for more than a month to ensure she got regular feedings. And it looks as if all that attention has paid off. The zoo says the baby's doing well and is now starting to sample solid foods. And she's getting a lot of attention from the other monkeys. Her grandma often carries the baby around and keeps a watchful eye on her.
Mom's been great too, though. Even though Mom didn't have milk, she really was interested in the baby from day one, and so that I think has helped a lot. Like, you know, right away the baby wanted to go to the parent, to the mom, and to the grandma, and both of them have taken turns holding. Both of them have taken turns allowing her to ride on them.
You can see the baby monkey for yourself at Toucan Ridge, and you'll get a chance to help give her a name. The zoo plans to hold a naming contest in the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look now at what's going on Notre Dame Avenue. It looks like things are moving well over here. It looks like a truck is on the side, though, with its hazards on. So could be some issues there in that part of the city. If you see any problems out there, please give us a heads up.
Traffic is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
We're talking about the St. B Mega Million Choices Lottery and an important deadline tonight. We're also talking about the importance of research, and that's what the lottery is supporting at that hospital. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. It's a cause that's near and dear to so many hearts. That is women's heart health. And I am pleased to be joined by Dr. Ina Rabinovich-Nikitin. And my apologies for the pronunciation because I've been practicing. Truly, thank you for being here today. Tell us about your work.
Thank you, and the pronunciation was perfect. So we're focusing on risk factors that are specific for women. Women experience different risk factors compared to men, and one of them is pregnancy complications. My lab is focusing on preeclampsia, which is a hypertensive disorder of pregnancy, and it causes hypertension during pregnancy, but it can also increase the risk for maternal death as well as fetal death, and it also increases the risk for heart disease later in life. So what we're studying is basically to try and understand what biomarkers can be developed to diagnose preeclampsia early on, and basically once we find biomarkers, we can also develop treatments to reduce the risk for preeclampsia and increased risk for heart disease later in life.
What's the biggest thing you've learned so far?
So we learned about the crosstalk between placenta, heart, and maternal heart and fetal heart. We learned that actually we shouldn't look at one system in isolation, but we should look at all the systems together and how the different systems talk to each other. And basically one system signals, for example, the placenta can signal to the heart that there is some stress. And that way we're basically trying to target all systems together to reduce the risk for heart disease.
I always say to people, why should they buy a ticket? This is why. This is why it supports amazing research like this. And you could be the winner of cash options, the 50-50 option as well, or a beautiful home like this. Head to the website, St. Boniface, megamillionchoices.ca.
Sounds good. And of course, we'll have more with a link on our website as well. Thank you, Ainsley. People in Vancouver are reflecting on the mysterious bright flash and loud boom seen and heard all over the city Tuesday night. What exactly was it? Well, CTV's Sinjin Alexander explains.
When a guest of the supersonic variety suddenly drops in on Metro Vancouver, this is what it sounds like. Just after 9 o'clock Tuesday, the night sky lit up. Then, nothing. Not for a couple of minutes. Until...
Felt a large boom. It sounded like an explosion.
Searched the house, upstairs, downstairs. Didn't know, looked outside.
The public, puzzled, called the police, not sure if there'd been an accident, an earthquake.
The sound waves from the explosion were actually recorded by our seismographs.
For such a big bang, somehow some didn't hear a thing.
Not till I got home and talked to my husband. He said, boy, you should have heard this boom last night.
Who heard it?
I did.
And who didn't?
We did not.
Now, BC's surprise visitor was a meteoroid, roughly 10 to 100 centimeters large. Big enough, say astronomers, to be considered a fireball, or what's known as a bolide.
They come in with so much energy, hitting the atmosphere, the denser parts of the atmosphere causes the rock to just break apart.
They begin to vaporize, melt, and dump an astounding amount of energy.
We just heard like a big boom, and then like our front door was shaking.
You know when you feel a large boom and it just reverberates in your body?
Meteors are constantly bombarding the Earth, so it's not that unusual. The treat is that it was big enough that we got to see it and hear it as far away as Washington State. Now, it's possible some pieces survived and may have landed around Whistler or Pemberton.
However, it's a very mountainous area, and I don't expect any pieces to be recovered.
It was very nice this morning to figure out what that sound was.
Anyone who missed it needn't worry. Another cosmic guest will drop by soon enough. We just won't know when. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
A look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Wow, that fog has really just started to settle in over the city. Foggy with some light snow as well. Very light snow, heavier snow in some other places, but the seasonal temperatures, those are back again, and we'll have them pretty much for the rest of this week. Minus 14 is that normal low, and exactly where we're sitting right now here in Winnipeg, Portage, Gimli, even over in Kenora. Slightly cooler, but only by a couple of degrees. Brandon, Dauphin coming in at minus 16, minus 18 for Swan River and the Pas. Further into the north, you maybe remember that the last several days, it's been incredibly cold with extreme cold warnings in place and wind chill values that have been in the high minus 40s, even minus minus 50s at times. Today, you're getting a little bit of a break. Your temperatures themselves are several degrees warmer, and even those wind chills nowhere near as extreme. We have still one minus 40 being felt up in Churchill, but most places are in the high minus 20s or low minus 30s as far as the wind chill values go. Here in the south, wind chills feeling in those low to mid minus 20s, and that breeze is going to be moderate, but throughout the day today. Also throughout the day, the possibility of the snow, you can really see it active here through central Manitoba. That'll be pushing up into the north as well, but even here throughout the south, some scattered flurries possible. Minus 13 as kids get into the classroom, minus 9 through lunchtime. By the time they're coming home again, minus 6, but wait, there's more. Getting up to about minus 5 as it continues to warm up around supper time. Today and tomorrow, close to seasonal. The big warm up comes this weekend, and then we're going to see those returning temperatures back to normal. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back too with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Canada and Australia have signed new agreements on critical minerals as Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney makes a landmark address to the Australian Parliament, a sign of the developing bond between the middle powers. In a world of great power rivalry, middle powers have a choice: compete for favor or combine for strength, is what Carney told lawmakers. Canada and Australia produce about a third of global lithium and uranium, as well as more than 40% of global iron ore. Well, the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says about 3,900 homes changed hands in February, down 6.3% from the same month last year, as sales also declined 1% on a seasonally adjusted basis from January. The average selling price was down 7.1% from February of 25. It's just over $1 million right now. The composite benchmark price, meant to represent the typical home, was down nearly 8% year over year. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
There are many layers to our healthcare system. There are family doctors who see us. There are ER teams who care for us when we're in trouble. And there are also pharmacists who ensure we get the medication we need and that drugs are administered safely and appropriately. Right now, the province of Manitoba is on a recruitment drive, hoping to draw international pharmacists, including from the United States. There are many great jobs available in pharmacy right now. And joining us to tell us more is the Executive Director of the Provincial Pharmacy Shared Services, Jane Lamont. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, in December, the province launched this international campaign trying to recruit pharmacists, even those trained in the U.S. Why is there a need right now?
Pharmacy has been dealing with a shortage for some time now, and there's an ongoing need for pharmacists, especially when we get into areas outside of Winnipeg, into rural Manitoba. It's really important that we're able to recruit and hire pharmacists to work across our province. There's many practices that they work in. Most familiar to most are in community pharmacies, but we also need pharmacists to support our hospital systems. We have pharmacists in doctors' offices. We have pharmacists for our personal care homes. And we have actually pharmacists who work in our government structures and in research in our universities.
That's really cool. So there's a lot of different options for employment if that is something you're interested in, which we'll get to in a second. But let's talk about the job itself, because some people might think it's just that community pharmacist, they're counting pills, they're making sure you get the right dose and all of that, which is a big part of that job. Yeah. But there's so many other layers to being a pharmacist. Tell us about that.
Correct. Yeah. Some people actually call a pharmacist, especially in a community pharmacy, one of the most accessible healthcare providers. They're there. They're able to be consulted without appointments, and they often get questions about their medications and about their medical conditions. Some of the other areas, pharmacists are key. They're the key member of the healthcare team. They're responsible for the medication therapy, making sure it's safe, making sure it's appropriate, making sure it's effective. And they play some other roles, giving injections. They play a key role in our vaccination programs across the province, compounding when we need specialty kind of medications, when traditional ones aren't working or aren't appropriate for patients, as well as they have the ability to do some prescribing for minor ailments, such as urinary tract infections, smoking cessations, and there's actually other pharmacists who work with extended practice licenses in specialty areas, and they're able to prescribe and order tests and follow patients. So they're really a key member of the healthcare team. They're the experts, and they provide education for both their healthcare team around medications as well as for patients. and ironically for disease prevention as well, which with the goal of not having to take medications.
Okay, so let's talk about the jobs then. There are many different opportunities. You just named many of them. What does it take to become a pharmacist right now?
Yeah, a pharmacist, you would start off in a university in an undergrad situation, and then there is an application process to a pharmacy program. There are 9 across the country, and in Manitoba, it's at the University of Manitoba.
Okay.
And then you continue on with your education to receive a Doctor of Pharmacy.
Okay, so if someone wants to apply for a job or they're looking at taking the training, what should they do?
Yeah, I think the best way would to be just to reach out to our Health Careers Manitoba website, and within there's healthcare recruitment and retention, and they can line up with a recruiter and find out some information about what the next steps are.
Okay, and of course we'll also have a link on our website. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you so much.
All right, I've been talking about that fog that has really settled in over the city now, and the snow that is definitely snow now. Earlier on, I was like, oh, it's just a few flakes or some ice crystals hanging in the air. And now definitely coming at me sideways, mostly because I'm unsheltered from the wind when it's in the direction as it is, east-northeast. So yes, it's like a little bit of a video game out here driving into the snow. -14, but it feels like -22 with that 19K wind out of the east-northeast. The pressure rising, humidity at 88%, and it is definitely snowing now. Lightly, but still, you'll notice that today, and perhaps even more so through central and eventually northern Manitoba. Northern Manitoba has been clear for the last several days, but it's also been incredibly cold with those extreme cold warnings in place. Good news, they've all been lifted as you're seeing a return to the more seasonal temperatures, but also saying goodbye to those clear skies, sunshine too, but at least you're able to get outside and enjoy it as it's not so dangerously cold any longer. Here in the south, we're going to see a return to seasonal temperatures for the southeast at least. Southwestern Manitoba remaining a little bit cold in the minus double digits. We will, though, continue to see that warm up throughout the rest of the week and more so into the weekend. Beautiful shot of the moon out in the Enola area. Thanks to Shana for sharing this. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Good morning. The artist of a 16th century sculpture is no longer anonymous. After a decade of research, this bust of Christ has been officially reattributed to Michelangelo. Independent researcher Valentina Salerno spent 10 years reviewing documents to confirm the discovery. The long-lost work of artist Michelangelo has been preserved for hundreds of years at a church in Rome.
Well, with awards season in full swing, maybe you're thinking about hosting a party. To share some tips on how to do it up right, Jessie Cruikshanks is joining us. She's a comedian and host of the #1 podcast, Phone a Friend. Jessie, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Terry. Hi.
Okay, now you're right into it, all of the parties, all of the fun stuff. So let's talk a little bit about maybe we want to host one of our own. We have to, of course, dress the part. So what would you wear to a party like that?
All right, so here's what I'm feeling. This year it feels like Canada is hotter than ever. And I mean, like, I don't mean weather hot.
Okay, because I was about to dispute.
No, please. I can barely feel my limbs and I am inside. No, I mean, we have hot shows. We are like winning awards. We have 12 Canadian nominees nominated for Oscars this year.
Love it.
So my hot suggestion, Terry, is that you throw a Canadian themed Oscar viewing party. So get all your guests to wear something Canadian. I am demonstrating a Canadian tuxedo today. They could wear denim on denim. They could do a hockey jersey, red and white. Maybe even go with like denim on the bottom, nothing on top, Justin Trudeau on a yacht style. The theme is up for interpretation, you know?
I love it. I also love your take on a denim or on the Canadian tuxedo, because that is probably one of the chicest versions of it that I've seen. All right, so that kind of covers off.
You better believe what I'm watching. When I'm watching, I'll be wearing my beat up jeans and my beat up shirt. You know, I'll take it down a notch for the viewing party.
Excellent. But where we're not taking it down a notch is what we're serving to eat, because of course food matters when you want to make friends.
I love that. That's rules to live by. Food matters when you want to make friends. Okay, so you tell me, Terry, if you would make friends with me, because I am not a real Pinterest party lady. I have 3 kids running around. I'm not cutting red peppers into a maple leaf, but I do want to keep my food Canadian themed. For me, my favorite Canadian flavor is an all-dressed chip. Okay, so if you're coming to my party, I'm having Ruffles all-dressed chips. That's Canadian flavor number 1. Are we good so far?
Absolutely, I'm there.
Okay, and then this is what's very exciting is that today Subway just launched their all-new all-dressed sauce, which is inspired by the flavor of the iconic Canadian chip. And so get some subs for your guests. Thank you. Cover it in the all-dressed sauce. It's savory, it's sweet, it's a little tangy, it's a little smoky. It's so delicious. And then you have like a Canadian, a patriotic flavor as you're watching the show, and it's a very light lift for you, the host, you know?
Okay, that sauce actually sounds like the most delicious thing. Do they sell it just on its own, or do you have to get the sub?
I mean, listen, I'm connected, so I got my own little bit of the sauce, and trust me, I'm going to be putting this on other things. I'm using it as a dip. It is so delicious. But yes, right now it is available for your Subway sandwich needs. Okay, if you make friends with your sandwich artist, they might hook you up.
I'll be my friendliest self when I hop in the store. Quickly, you have a quick tip on a game?
I always think that you should play a game at a party. People, you know, need a little bit of help, especially if there's people who don't know each other. So I'm going to say, pull iconic Oscar speeches, do a game of name that speech, see if people can name lines, you know. You like me, you really like me. Like, you can name who said that, right, Terry?
Oh, that was Sally Fields. Sally Fields. Thank you.
Sauce for you, Terry.
I will take it. Listen,
games, have fun, make it fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun. That food sounds top notch. That sauce, hook it up to my veins. I feel like that is going to be the thing that sustains me. Jesse, these are all great tips. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Terry. You're invited to my party. I hope to see you there.
Yes, please.
Here's a look at traffic on Portage Avenue. It's pretty light here. We'll be right back.
There, you can see that fog. You can't really see the snow, but I can promise you there's snow tucked in there for sure. We're just not seeing it flying at the camera the same way as I was seeing it on the rooftop 20 minutes ago. Minus 14 at the moment with east-northeast winds 19 clicks. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 88%. But yes, that snow is coming down. Not at a drastic pace, but certainly enough to call it snowing, whereas earlier this morning I was like, oh, it's not really snowing yet. Well, it certainly is now. Not as much, though, as we're seeing through central Manitoba. You can see just how active things are looking on the satellite image, and there through the central part and pushing up into the north is where a lot of that system will be headed today, with the clear conditions across northern Manitoba disappearing as the clouds move in, but also disappearing as the extreme cold. You're finally climbing out of the deep freeze across northern Manitoba. Those extreme cold warnings have all been lifted. We're headed to a high of -5 today. A little bit of light snow to go along with those clouds and a bit of a breeze out of the northeast at about 20 kilometers per hour. Now, -4 is a normal daytime high, so we're pretty much bang on what you would expect, both with the morning temperatures and with where we're headed this afternoon. But it starts to get a little bit milder this coming night, dropping only to -9. Still with those northwest winds at about 20 kilometers per hour and the heavier clouds, but those clouds beginning to break up at least a little bit tomorrow, and a high of -6. So finishing off the work week with those temperatures close enough to what is normal for this time of year. But the big warm up comes this weekend. Look at this, plus digits both Saturday and Sunday, but it could come with a little bit of shower activity and then a return to those more seasonal temperatures as we look ahead to next week.
The NDP government has a mountain of legislation planned as the spring session gets underway. Key bills include plans to end mandatory overtime for nurses and a ban on street weapons in parks. The government is also promising new measures to help with the cost of living in its upcoming budget.
When our budget comes forward, we're going to have some really strong measures on affordability.
Healthcare, crime and food prices are at the top of the province's agenda. The NDP government could introduce nearly 3 dozen bills this session. On crime, proposed laws would restrict long-bladed weapons and ban street weapons in parks and on buses. On healthcare, the government is looking to end the requirement for sick notes, stop mandatory overtime for nurses, and create nurse-to-patient ratios. Healthcare also dominated the first question period back at the legislature. PC leader Abi Khan again called for a public inquiry into the health system following several emergency room-related deaths.
I'm asking the question that the families have asked me to ask on their behalf. Will the Premier call a public inquiry into the deaths of their loved ones while they waited for healthcare treatment?
Later this month, the NDP government will unveil its 2026 budget with a pledge to help lower food prices. Premier Wamkanu says the government will target what he calls predatory pricing. Meanwhile, Justice Minister Matt Wiebe has reintroduced a bill that would require an opinion from the Court of Appeal before the province can use the notwithstanding clause. Winnipeg Transit riders will no longer need to wonder where their bus is. The city says passengers are now able to track buses in near real time using a smartphone. The Winnipeg Transit app and website, as well as Navigo, allows riders to see buses on a map. Their location is updated based on GPS. Clicking on the bus will provide more information, including how recently its location was updated. If there hasn't been a recent GPS report from the bus, the city says its location won't be visible in the app. The update comes after Winnipeg Transit's GPS system experienced widespread issues last summer and fall. However, the city says it's now performing with the same accuracy as it did before. The conflict in the Middle East continues to impact what Canadians are paying at the pumps. CTV's Heather Wright is tracking how much more drivers are spending and how much higher prices could go.
Sticker shock at the pump with prices soaring across the country overnight.
I expect inflation by 3.5% by the end of the year.
According to GasBuddy.com, drivers in BC and PEI are paying the most, an average of 161.9 cents a litre in BC and 154.2 cents a litre in PEI. Quebec is seeing prices around 152 per litre, Ontario averaging 136.6 a litre, while the lowest prices are in Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta.
The longer this conflict goes, the greater the likelihood the price will reach levels that are extraordinarily uncomfortable for most Canadians.
20% of all oil traded passes through the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, which Iran controls. Tanker traffic has been disrupted while energy facilities throughout the region have been attacked. While gas prices across the West are rising, China is feeling the pain much more acutely as they import 70% of their energy from the Persian Gulf. And some believe the U.S.-led strikes in Iran may also be a way to target Beijing ahead of President Trump's visit there later this month.
The fact that gas prices for me are a little bit higher while my competitor simply doesn't have gas is maybe another consideration.
Despite being an energy-rich nation, experts say Canadians are unlikely to see any relief at the pumps as efforts to scale up oil and gas production cannot be done overnight. It's something that doesn't sit well with Luka Mihalik.
They should have done something 10 years ago, not today. Today, what can you do?
There are concerns the conflict in the Middle East will have an impact similar to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 4 years ago, when the price of a barrel of oil jumped by 20%. There is more oil at play in this conflict, but analysts say it all depends on how long the war lasts. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Here's a look at what's happening on Donald Street. Looks good. There's no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see anything out there, please send us a text. Here's a look at your gas prices. Yes, they're going up. The Canadian average is now up to $1.43. The provincial average is also up to $1.36. In Winnipeg, the average is higher at $1.38. And the lowest price in the city is $1.24. GasBuddy.com is where you can find this. Time now for your answers to our question of the day. Today we asked, do you skip breakfast or what do you eat for breakfast? Susan says she never eats breakfast, never. Marlene likes an egg, fruit or banana and toast. Drew usually tries to have breakfast most mornings, which is usually something simple like a protein shake or smoothie. Jody eats breakfast, not a heavy one, fruits, yogurt, spinach and a bit of cereal mixed together. April shared egg bites with cheese and roasted red peppers cooked in my air fryer with a good cup of coffee is how I start my day. Jackie likes to have coffee and a slice of toast with peanut butter every morning, which of course gets shared with the dog. Craig says don't skip breakfast, so he eats fruit or a piece of toast. Lynn never skips her breakfast. Her go-to is high-protein yogurt, granola, and a banana. A viewer texted, I have breakfast every day, usually cereal or once in a while a full breakfast. Jessie goes through phases where she eats the same thing every day for breakfast. Recently, her new favorite thing is oatmeal that she cooks with a tea bag and adds brown sugar. James's answer is one day for breakfast, a homemade egg McMuffin, the next, a homemade fruit waffle. Karen says coffee is breakfast. 2 slices of cheese, 1 pear, and 1 yogurt helped Tony lose 20 pounds. Well, good for you, Tony. Sabrina says, I have a smoothie, coffee, and water for breakfast during the week. On the weekends, a bagel and boiled egg. Thank you so much for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. The St. B Mega Millions Choices Lottery has an important deadline tonight at midnight. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, head to the website, stbmegamillionchoices.ca to get those tickets. I'm joined by Dr. Ina once again, and heart health is oh so important, and you guys are actually working with NASA. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we have very exciting collaboration with NASA. That's a collaboration between my lab as well as Dr. Laura Kirschenbaum's lab. And we spent some time in NASA this year studying basically the effects of microgravity on the heart. Because what happens in Earth, we have gravity, of course, which causes the blood to circulate in our body in a specific way. But then when we don't have gravity, like in space, basically the blood flows, or the liquids and, all the fluids flow back up. And that basically causes the heart work less hard. So it doesn't need to work or pump blood as hard. And because the heart is a muscle, it can cause also atrophy of the heart or atrophy of the muscle. And basically what we're trying to understand is how these differences in microgravity can affect cardiac function. But it's not only about space travel or astronauts and how we can help in space, but also studies that we're doing with NASA can also be translated to Earth. And maybe some of these models can be translated to disease models on Earth.
Wow. Why should people buy a ticket?
Well, because we need to support this kind of research. It's very important research that is done in collaboration between St. Boniface Hospital and laboratories in St. Boniface Hospital, together with other places all over the world, when we can increase the treatments for heart disease and basically reduce the risk for future heart disease.
Anything else you want people to know about this research?
On NASA?
Yeah, it's so cool.
It is. It's very exciting. So just what I wanted to tell also that besides microgravity, there is also circadian disruptions that are happening in space. And that's another collaboration. We have just the differences between light and dark cycle. So that's another study that we need to remember, because disrupting the circadian rhythm can also adversely affect the heart and increase the risk for heart disease. So this is all studies that are done in St. Boniface, and we're proud to be part of.
From the center of the universe, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
All right.
Head to the website. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's snowing out there.
Yes, it definitely is, and I almost need glasses on today just to kind of block the snow from flying directly at my eye the way it's coming right now. Because I'm unsheltered from these east-northeast winds, it actually is like sideways snow directly into the face. Anyway, -14 is where we're sitting right now, but it feels like -22, and that's all due to that wind. It's not an intense wind. It's just enough to send that snow at me sideways. It's 19 kilometers per hour out of the east-northeast right now, with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 88%. This will likely continue on throughout the day today, but heavier snow is expected to fall through central Manitoba, and all of that will be pushing up into northern Manitoba, where things might still be on the clearer side for now, but nowhere near as cold. The last few days has been incredibly cold across northern Manitoba with those extreme cold warnings in place. And today, all of those warnings have lifted as you're seeing a return to the more seasonal temperatures, but you're also seeing the end of the sunshine with the clouds building up and the snow moving in. Northern Manitoba can expect to see kind of the more blustery conditions as well. Here throughout the south, yes, some light snow today, but also a return to those more seasonal temperatures. It was a little bit cool yesterday, but today back to normal, which is where we'll be for the rest of the week before an even bigger warm-up comes this weekend. Taking a break, we'll be back soon with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. A Calgary collector has turned his private archive of vinyl records and record players into a public museum. CTV's Kevin Green reports.
Ken Murphy started collecting records as a child after his father brought home a Beatles album.
Some say it's a life misspent. I prefer to think it's a life full of passion.
It sparked a lifelong obsession with collecting and archiving artifacts and recorded music, which Murphy has now turned into a public gallery.
About 15 years ago, I realized that I had reached a critical mass in my collection, and there were patterns in my collection that needed to be explored.
The Vinyl-Centric Gallery's first exhibit, called Phonosphere, covers the period from 1948, when vinyl LPs debuted, to 1978. The exhibit showcases historic Canadian-made record players and offers a glimpse into the culture of the time.
Most record players were purchased during this era, were purchased in appliance and furniture stores, not stereo stores or audio stores. And Mum was in charge of that process because we were buying furniture and it had to fit into her decor.
The museum highlights the birth and growth of Canada's recorded music scene, which until the early 1960s was almost non-existent. The Vinyl-Centric Gallery and Archive is also digitizing Murphy's over 100,000 record collection of vinyl LPs.
I figure I'll be scanning for about 5 years, 5 days a week. I usually get in about 8 o'clock in the morning, I scan till 3 or 4.
A visit to the museum features a curated background soundtrack of Motown, funk, disco, and rap. Murphy says he plans to add listening booths in a future phase. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
It's touted as a journey into the marvels of the human mind. The Ravine the Legend dynasty continues into the next generation. Ty Ravine is continuing in his father's footsteps of magic and hypnosis with the show, the Superconscious Experience Show of Ravine the Impossibilist. The legend continues. It's happening Saturday at the Club Regent Event Center. And joining us now is Ty Ravine. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Thank you for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
So right now you're not trying to hypnotize me, are you? Like, how does it work exactly? Do you have to be willing? I'm scared. Am I still here?
Oh yeah, you have to. It's cooperation between the conductor, myself, and the subject who wants to be hypnotized. There is subliminal hypnosis. For example, if you buy advertising on your station, you'll have a subliminal drive to buy a certain product. So that's why businesses that buy advertising do better than businesses that don't. But it does have your repetition of suggestion is what makes it work. But we focus on a positive influence through relaxation, and then just boost the people with great confidence that they can achieve anything they want to achieve in life and have a fearless attitude towards it. That allows us to get them in front of a spotlight and do stuff that they never thought they'd be able to do. It's fascinating.
Stuff like what exactly?
Well, there's all kinds of things. I'm going to do something on this show that's going to make a person talk a language that they've never learned before. And I'm going to have somebody there that understands the language and translate it for them, and it is going to blow everybody's mind.
And how does that work, would you say?
Well, my father discovered it through some experiment he was doing in Fiji, and this gentleman started speaking a language that wasn't Hindu, but it was an older language that he'd never learned, nor did he know Hindu, but his father was right beside my father, and he said, "Pop, that's my father, that's my father." He said, like, back off, be quiet, you know, and he kept on talking consistently in this language. And my father thought he discovered reincarnation, but he later talked to a doctor, Dr. Makuchi, and he said, "No, Peter, what you discovered is genetic memory that we're all passed down, like your face and your looks and your mannerisms come from other people, and so does the memory. Music, mathematics, skills at making wood or things like that get passed on."
Wow,
yeah,
that's including language. Okay, so what can people expect from the show?
It's the world's funniest and most amazing stage show. I'll tell you that.
People will be laughing.
Oh, absolutely hilarious, but it is a true scientific demonstration of the powers of the human mind. What happens when you're placed into a deep state of relaxation and we get rid of the conscious thinking, which is naturally the negative part of our mind, and just convince them they're capable of anything. And then we guide them into a spotlight and they do extraordinary things.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and this show is happening on Saturday at the Club Regent Event Center. Still some tickets available.
Yeah, we're 4 sold-out shows so far. Well, it's getting close, but it's a big hit, and we played to hundreds of thousands of people over the many decades that we've been coming here since the early 60s, but it's the hottest show in town. Don't miss it.
All right, and again, that is on Saturday at 7 p.m. Thank you, Ty.
All right, thanks, Rochelle.
Il ne pas chaud, il fait froid. Look at me talking in another language already. All right, it's minus 14 outside, right? It works. Minus 14, but it feels like minus 22. Those winds out of the east-northeast, 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 88%. My French teacher would be so proud of me. My French teacher was actually my mother. She's always proud of me. Anyway, let's take a look at these conditions this morning. Heavier clouds with the scattered snow that's going to be moving right up into northern Manitoba, where it's clear right now, but it will be clouding over, and those flurries will be coming. But it's also going to be a lot warmer across northern Manitoba. That's probably the best news that I have. That's where the weather has been so extreme, but now you're going to see a bit of a warm-up. We, too, will get a bit of a warm-up back to seasonal temperatures, at least for today and tomorrow. Close to it anyway, minus 4 being normal for this time of year. The weekend, though, look at this. Temperatures on the rise, pushing above the freezing mark into the plus digits. It could, however, come with a little bit of shower activity and then settling back down to what is normal for this time of year, and that's pretty much where we're going to be throughout much of next week. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to show you some fun video. A number of wishes were set off into the sky during a lantern festival in Taiwan.
I wish for peace for everybody in the world. There's a lot going on, so a little bit of peace for every single person in the world would go a long way.
Hundreds of sky lantern drifted into the night sky this week, marking a close to Lunar New Year festivities. Visitors wrote wishes and prayed for prosperity in the year of the horse as they released the lanterns into the sky.
That's on my bucket list.
So
I want to go.
Yes. A group of brown bears is waking up to spring sunshine after a 3-month hibernation. Whipsnade Zoo's 4 European brown bears have emerged. Zookeepers captured them slowly waking up and taking in their surroundings. They'll spend their first few days easing back into activity before livening up to enjoy rolling in the field and splashing in the pool.
Oh, to be a bear.
So itchy. It's been a long winter. And then finally, what's worse than a dog that bites? Well, this. Yeah, this is a dog that judges you no matter where you are or what you're doing. Benny the Golden is there to show his disapproval. Even when he's not impressed, he's adorable. Yes, indeed. Look at that face. Oh, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.